Transmigrated into a fallen family. Aim my father's absolute support. Best peerless divine weapons. Ancient orthodox techniques to my father. Left him with supreme dragon veins. Still gave everything to my father. 4. Father conquered the entire land of the 9 provinces in just 1 year. Just as my father was moved. King his son was the ultimate filial child. Suddenly discovered. Lying in the courtyard reading comic books every day. Actually the only eternal thief in this universe. This happened because I bound the prosperous husband righteous path system. Cultivation was always 3 major realms higher than my father's. I first transmigrated into this cultivation world. Realized how miserable my situation was. Father Lingzhan, to protect me. His entire sword bones shattered by a single palm from a sect envoy. Dantian and Chi Si were completely ruined. His foundation couldn't be rebuilt. Father. Not only become a cripple unable to even truss a chicken. Remaining 10 years of life. Reduced to just 3 months. Then, the Lin family would surely be completely swallowed. Those white-eyed wolves of the Pang faction. I frantically searched the house. Looking for any ancestral jade pendants left behind. Mysterious iron rings. Maybe I could summon an ancient sword spirit. Turn the tables for my father and me. Soon I despaired. Family was so poor even the mice were moving out in tears. Just as I was about to grab a kitchen knife and risk everything. Old mechanical eagle. Suddenly exploded in my mind. Ding. Congratulations, host, for binding the prosperous husband righteous path system. Detected that host's father is currently suffering from dried up origin. Such a tragic state. Seriously violates this system's principle of invincible through relying on dad. Especially issuing a Nirvana comeback gift pack for host's father. Note, all items in the gift pack. Only for host's father to use. No one else who touches them will turn to dust. Listening to the voice in my mind. Corners of my mouth couldn't help but twitch violently. Whole gift pack goes to my dad. Do I still have to serve him tea and water? Be that as a dignified transmigrator, I can't even get a sip of soup? Since the host is the only bound user of this system, unique passive law is hereby activated. Host's cultivation will always surpass others by 3 major realms. The host wished to activate this law immediately? Hearing this, I almost couldn't help but laugh wildly at the sky. System is simply tailor-made for my invincibility. Cultivation will always be 3 major realms higher than my father's. This means that, long as I, like a sweet duck, stuffing resources into my father's mouth, long as my father works hard and cultivates like crazy, can just lie flat and slack off with a clear conscience, can level up just by breathing, immediately activate the unique passive. Detected that the host's father is in battle. Current realm has dropped to the 1st level of giant artifact. In this world, the realms are divided into giant artifact, bound pill, heavenly origin, cleaving, and saint sovereign. The support of the system's universe and laws, host's cultivation will directly soar to the 1st level of sea cleaving. Boom. Before I could react, the moment the system prompt fell, terrifying spiritual power strong enough to destroy heaven and earth exploded in my body. Bones were crazily reorganized. Meridians were widened tens of thousands of times. Giant artifact, 9th level peak. Bound pill, 9th level perfection. Heavenly origin, 9th level extreme. Didn't stop until the 1st level of sea cleaving. System, do you even care about fairness? Suddenly clenched my fists, feeling the terrifying power in my body that could shatter stars with a punch. Sea cleaving tribulation that ordinary people reach in their entire lives. Achieved it so effortlessly. Sea cleaving realm in this Tianyun Empire. At the level of a legendary, national guardian divine beast. Can stir up a fierce storm just by breathing. Quickly restrained my terrifying aura. Trace of extreme coldness flashed in my eyes. Haven't forgotten how my father's sword bone was broken. Aloof Star Sword sect. Ordered to take away my mother. Left me with the engagement token. My father like killing an ant. And threatened that if the Lin family dared to resist, would wipe out the entire Lin family. Oh, I have this heaven-defying system. Sooner or later, will stomp flat. So-called Star Sword sect, what is the sea opening path? Not enough, far from enough. Must keep getting stronger. System, open for me immediately. Father's Nirvana counterattack gift pack. Soon as the words fell, suddenly, 3 dazzling divine lights burst forth in the void. Brilliant divine light, ding. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the father's exclusive 9-turn Nirvana. Forging the golden core. Ding. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the father's exclusive eternal star. Water absorption divine seal. Ding. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the father's exclusive supreme cultivation technique. Chaos devouring heaven sword art. This, 1 world destroying thunder flame fire sea divine item. Looking at the 4 swords floating in front. Creating overwhelming divine power and quality assurance. Was so excited that I even stopped breathing. 9-turn Nirvana that reforges the golden core not only allows rebirth from severance, also enables one to break free from the cocoon and become a butterfly, sensing the legendary structureless ship body and absorbing divine water. Cleanse away mundane impurities. Using cultivation speed to soar 100-fold. That chaos swallowing heaven sword technique is even more heavyweight. The word chaos in its name. Enough to show that it passes the laws of this world. To mention bone forging. Even comes with a thunderflame seed capable of destroying everything. Long as my father absorbs all these things. To mention restoring his cultivation. And splitting open the imperial city of Tianyun Empire with a single strike. Be effortless. Someone whose realm is 3 levels higher than his could absolutely ascend on the spot, becoming a deity of this continent. Thinking of this, grabbed these treasures and kicked open the door. Straight to my father's dilapidated side residence. On stepping into the main family's courtyard, piercing mocking voices came from all directions. Isn't this the useless young master? Young master. Father is now a useless cripple, not even as good as a dog. It weren't for him, poking the envoy from the Star Sword sect, the family head have been crippled? Just a jinx. Grand Elder has already given the order. Carl, the father and son will be kicked out of the family. These malicious words kicking us while we're down. Can't even be bothered to look at them. Bother with a bunch of people who are practically dead already. Or arrogant you are now. Harder I'll make you kneel tomorrow. Sneered and quickened my pace. Opened the rickety side door. Shaky wooden door. Soon as I entered, pain before my eyes made my heart clench. Indescribable bitterness rushed to my nose. The dark, damp room. Father, Ling Zhan, who was once high-spirited, could shake Jinchang with a single sword. Now sitting slumped in a wheelchair, his hair completely white. Hands were withered like dead wood. Bing tightly. Holding a piece of cotton emitting a faint glow. Sure tried to inject the last trace of life essence to my protective jade pendant. You crazy? I am burning with rage. Figure instantly transformed into a residual shadow. Snatched that crystal stone away. Zhan trembled violently all over. His eyes, once deep like the starry sky, only left endless traces of death. Instead, Dad is a useless person. His current existence only drags you down. Great Elder said they will kick us out tomorrow. Sealed the last of his origin in the jade pendant. Take it to the black market to exchange for some cash. Farther the better. This cannibalistic place. In these words, eyes instantly turned red. This is what a father is. Even though I have fallen into despair, am at the end of my rope, I still think about how to leave my son a last way out. Adversity reveals true character. This heaven has allowed me to transmigrate into this body. Starting today, Zhan is my real father. Whoever dares to touch a single hair on his head will wipe out their entire family. Take a deep breath, possibly suppressing the anger and grief in my heart. Corners of my mouth curl into a mysterious smile. Dad, where are you leaving? Now when I was sleeping, dreamed of a glowing white-bearded old man. Old man said your fate is not yet over. The future. You're destined to become a peerless powerhouse whose sword dominates the heavens. Also casually stuffed me with a few worthless pieces of junk, insisting they could cure your illness. Zhan listened to my nonsense. A bitter smile appeared on his despairing face. Dad knows you're a good child. Dad's humble bones are from the Star Sword sect, using true techniques to crush immortals. And if they came, they couldn't save him. Or he finished speaking, directly took out the 9-turn Nirvana pill, radiating divine light, forging the golden core. An instant, the entire shabby room filled with an incredibly dense medicinal fragrance. By taking a whiff, Zhan's originally withered vitality actually began to surge unbelievably. What grade is this pill? Zhan's eyes widened suddenly. His lifeless eyes. Unbelievable light burst forth instantly. Son, worry about the grade. Hurry up and eat it. Not giving him a choice, I pried open his mouth. Stuffed the golden core and divine liquid all in at once. Conveniently pressed the chaos. And swallowing. Lord Art and Thunder Rockfire seed into his brow. And we'll go take a stroll outside first. Dad, you digested well. You don't become a peerless powerhouse. Call yourself my father, Lin Fan's dad. You're saying that, I didn't give him a chance to ask questions. And ran out of the room. You kidding? Scene of my dad reforging his bones will definitely be earth-shattering. Have to save enough face for him. At the next instant after I closed the door to my room. Inside the room, a supremely suppressed roar of rage suddenly erupted. A rumble, a visible storm of spiritual power, entered on Pian Yuan. Suddenly surged into my mind. System's notification sounds exploded like firecrackers. Detected that the host's father has taken the Nirvana golden pill. And Guchong. Successfully molded, cultivation broke through to Xiandan first layer. Cultivation broke through to Xiandan fifth layer. Cultivation broke through to Xiandan ninth layer. Infection detected, host's father comprehended chaos Jianjue. Possibly broke through to ancient realm, cultivation soared to Tianyuan first layer. Listening to that string of pleasant notification sounds in my mind. I was so thrilled I almost flew up. Just half an hour. Father not only regained his former peak, even leaped. Become a rare Tianyuan realm powerhouse in the Tianyun Empire. What I looked forward to most was next sound from the system, ding. Detected that the host's father's cultivation has reached Tianyuan first layer. Unique passive law activated. Its cultivation synchronously rises by 3 major realms. Congratulations, host's cultivation has broken through to Xinyu realm first layer. Boom. Indescribable supreme power. Awakened in my body with a roar. Single thought of the Xinyu record. Divine sense instantly covered the entire city. Trajectory of every falling leaf in the city. Drop of every bead of water. All were under my control. Oh, I don't need any weapons. It's a single glance. Make the laws of heaven and earth stand at attention. Slowly exhaled a turbid breath. Feeling this invincible power. Couldn't help but curl my lips into a smile. Being flat and getting stronger. Feeling is truly awesome. Just as I was sighing with emotion, divine sense suddenly caught a commotion behind the neighbors. The Yam Garden. Slender, delicate figure. Being surrounded by several family servants. Was my personal maid, Mu Xiaoxiao. Did over, you little thief. Steward with a face full of flesh. Pointing at Mu Xiaoxiao's nose and cursing loudly. Didn't steal. This is what I want a pawn for money. Buy medicine for the young master. Xiao Xiao clutched a small cloth bundle tightly to her chest. Eyes red with tears. It was the only keepsake his mother left him. Broken jade hairpin, pfft. Useless Lin Fan also deserves medicine? Steward kicked Mu Xiao Xiao in the knee. Today, the Grand Elder has spoken. Supplies to Lin Fan's courtyard are to be cut off. Little bitch. You know what's good for you, hand it over obediently. I'd spare you a bite of food. Seeing Mu Xiaoxiao's unyielding look on the screen. Illing intent in my heart was almost tangible. The Grand Elder. A bunch of neighborhood crabs. Tiger fallen to the plains is bullied by dogs. Really think I'm dead, Lin Fan? Took a step forward. Instantly crossing hundreds of feet. Appeared directly in the back mountain herb garden. That steward was just about to slap on Mu Xiaoxiao's face. Didn't even raise my hand. Swept over with a cold gaze. Visible, terrifying pressure like 100,000 mountains. Dashed down. Steward didn't even have time to let out a scream. Whole body was instantly crushed by the terrifying gravity. Into the soil. His bones shattered. Fainted on the spot. Master. Xiao Xiao stared blankly at my sudden appearance. Ears instantly flooded. Okay now, Xiao Xiao, I walked forward. Li rubbed his head. Now on, whoever dares to touch you. Make them vanish into ashes. The rounding servants' legs went weak. A thud, 7 of them knelt on the ground. Begging desperately for mercy. Master, spare us. It was the Grand Elder who made us do this. Elder, I sneered, go back and tell that old dog. Wash his neck clean. Or I'll personally take his dog's head. Shout, he reported to those family servants as if pledging allegiance to a great house. Escaped from the medicine garden, rolling and crawling. Just returned to the courtyard with Mu Xiao Xiao. Surge of overwhelming sword intent shot straight into the sky. Of the entire neighbor's house. Giant sword of thunder and flame. For 100 zhong long, actually formed. This moment, father emerged from seclusion. Heart was wild with joy. Meanwhile, outside the neighbor's main gate. An extremely arrogant and wild laughter. Aha, Lingzhan old dog. Fan useless trash. Aren't you coming out quickly to die? Frowned. Up the divine stone. Instantly saw clearly who had come. A Wuji, inner disciple of the Star Sword sect. Was exactly. Disciple of the envoy who crippled my father's sword bones. Behind him, followed several elders from the neighbor's powerful faction. Nodding and bowing. Being just like a bunch of tail-wagging, begging lapdogs. Master Xiao, you finally arrived. Grand Elder, face full of flattery, hurried up. Jean, that useless man, should have died long ago, rest assured. They will beat the father and son to death with sticks. Apologize to the new Qingjian sect. A Wuji snorted disdainfully. Apologize? You answer worthy? Hey, not only do I want Lin Fan's life. Also want your Lin family's ancestral miniature spiritual vein. You don't comply. Even chickens and dogs will be spared. Soon as these words were spoken, neighbor's people instantly turned ashen. Grand Elder trembled all over in fright. To save his own life. Actually turned around directly. Heard at the Lin family, are you all deaf? Hurry up. Up Lin Zhan and Lin Fan. The survival of the family. Sacrificing the father and son is the right thing to do. Looking at this shameless bunch. Laughed in anger, ready to fight back. Just about to step forward. Using the slight pressure of the divine wandering mirror. Quickly crushed Xiao Wuji into minced meat. Just at this moment. Voice as cold as if from the 9 nether hells. Floated above the entire neighborhood. Sacrifice my son? With you bunch of things not even as good as dogs? The distant main gate shattered with a crash. Figure like a demon god rose into the air. Zhan, dressed in black. Head of white hair wildly dancing in the wind. His eyes. A youthful, tearful fury capable of destroying heaven and earth. Han Yuan mirror. Is this possible? Isn't he crippled? Grand Elder's eyes nearly popped out. So frightened he collapsed to the ground. Crotch instantly soaked in a large patch. Arrogance on Xiao Wuji's face also completely froze. This is impossible. Master clearly shattered your sword bone. Could you possibly restore it? Even break through to the peak of Tian Yuan? Zhan didn't even bother to answer, his finger like a sword. Hit at Xiao Wuji in the void, whoever hurts my child dies. Terrifying sword aura condensed from Thunder Rock. Out. Heaven-shaking dragon's roar, instantly tearing through the void. Aiming straight for Xiao Wuji's annihilation. Sensing that terrifying force enough to destroy heaven and earth. A Wuji was scared out of his wits. Save me, Elder Mo, save me. Does the thunder flame. Sword aura was about to cleave Xiao Wuji in two. Crack suddenly opened in the void. Shriveled old man in black robes. Appeared like a ghost in front of Xiao Wuji. Old man's hands quickly formed seals. Black shield covered in mysterious runes. Instantly condensed. The thunderflame sword aura slammed into the black shield. Erupting in a deafening explosion. Old man in black grunted. Staggered back several steps. Eyes were full of shock and fear. Grand Elder and others, seeing this scene, hid out in shock again. The old man in black robes. Actually a super expert of the sea-splitting realm. Lingzhan is doomed. No matter how strong the Tianyuan mirror is. Impossible to cross a whole major realm. Defeat a sea-splitting expert. A Wuji wiped the cold sweat from his forehead. Became arrogant again, laughing wildly, Lingzhan. And if you've recovered your cultivation, so what? Front of Elder Mo. Still just a slightly bigger ant. Elder Mo, cripple him for me. Want to skin Lin Fan alive in front of him. Bring this. Hey, who had been quietly standing in the courtyard. Gaze turned completely cold. To skin me? Very well. Looked up at the old man in black robes in midair. Lightly tapped my finger in the void. Laws of heaven and earth. Supreme law of the divine wandering mirror instantly descended. Old man in black, Missouri Yuan, who was about to strike, suddenly felt the surrounding space. If it had become an indestructible divine body, was horrified to find his mighty sea-splitting cultivation didn't even move a single finger. Spiritual power in his body completely solidified, and his soul was firmly suppressed. Level of power is this? Mo Yuan's heart was in turmoil. Sweat poured down like rain. Meanwhile, Ling Zhan, no idea Mo Yuan had already been secretly immobilized by me. In his eyes there was only endless fury. The urge to protect me. You want to hurt my son? Have to step over my corpse first. Zhan roared. Chaos-devouring sword art in his body operated at full force. Thunder Rockfire instantly went berserk, transforming into 1,000 Zhang giant sword, creating a destructive momentum, slashed fiercely at Mo Yuan. Mo Yuan screamed in despair in his heart. He couldn't make a sound. Could only watch helplessly as the Thunder Rock giant sword, infinitely large in his pupils. No suspense at all. Super expert of the sea-splitting realm, Mo Yuan, cleaved in half by Ling Zhan with a single sword. Terrifying thunderfire instantly burned his broken body to ashes. Even his soul managed to escape. Whole place was dead silent. Silent as death. Everyone was like a duck with its neck squeezed, eyes wide open. Sagape, unable to make a sound. Click instant kill on the path of sea cleaving. This really something a Tianyuan mirror cultivator can do? Grand Elder and those crab stewards, so frightened they foamed at the mouth. More than half fainted dead away. Wuji fell to his knees with a thud, whole body trembling violently like a sieve. Patriarch Lin, spare my life. I'm an inner disciple of the Starsword sect. You kill me, Starsword sect will not let you go. Zhan looked down at him coldly. If looking at a corpse, Starsword sect. Sooner or later, I will personally visit your sect. Wipe out every last one of you. After Lin Zhan finished speaking, he couldn't even be bothered to draw his sword. Instead, a violent aura burst out from his body. Wuji was instantly like being hammered by 10,000 troops. Spat out a mouthful of fresh blood, the scent flying hundreds of meters away. Life or death unknown. Crisis was resolved. Zhan landed from midair. Quickly walked up to me. Looked me up and down. Eyes full of tension and concern. You really okay? Did you get hurt? Seeing the fatherly love in my father's eyes, heart felt warm. Smiled and shook my head. Dad, I'm perfectly fine. That arrow you shot just now was really cool. Zhan laughed heartily at my words. Of course. After all, look at who your father is. And Lin Zhan frowned slightly. Trace of doubt flashed in his eyes about that arrow just now. It just feels something was off. Didn't that black-robed old man even try to dodge? Just took my sword head on. Forced myself to hold back my laughter. Speaking utter nonsense with a straight face. Must be, Dad, that your domineering aura is just too strong. Scared him silly. So, Dad. Cultivation technique you practice. The peerless divine skill given by that old grandpa. Normal for you to defeat enemies above your level. Zhan nodded in agreement. Seems. Senior is indeed an unfathomable master. On the contrary, if you meet that senior again in the future, must thank him properly on my behalf. Held back my laughter and nodded solemnly. Definitely. Thank him every night in my dreams. This moment. Neighboring disciples and Pang. Elders who survived. All trembling as they looked at us father and son. Especially the Grand Elder who had been the most arrogant before. Now lying on the ground. Pretending to be dead, not even daring to open his eyes. Restrained the smile on my face. Swept my icy gaze across all the Grand Elders present. Stop pretending. My voice. Grand Elder shuddered all over. Called frantically to me, kowtowing madly. Master, spare my life. Patriarch, spare my life. Was possessed by a moment of madness. Foolishly believed Xiao Wuji's nonsense. Begged the Patriarch, for the sake of our kinship. Spare my worthless life. Grace of. Gust flashed in Lin Zhan's eyes. Just as he was about to speak and punish the Grand Elder, stepped forward and said, Father. Just came out of seclusion. Trivial matters within the family. Me handle them. Zhan was stunned for a moment. He patted my shoulder with relief. Good. Grown up. Since that's the case, leave everything here to you. After saying that, Lin Zhan turned and walked toward the remote area, really eager to return and continue stabilizing his realm. After Lin Zhan left, gentleness on my face vanished instantly, placed by an endless aura of authority. Someone come. Pull this old dog's cultivation, the Grand Elders. Throw him into the dungeon. Search and confiscate all assets of his bloodline. Family resources embezzled must be seized and used for attack. Immediately. Several guards loyal to the main family rushed forward. Grand Elder screamed in despair as he was dragged away. You're dealing with this cancer. Looked at the trembling members of the Lin family below. Voice was icy cold. From today on, Lin family establishes a new rule. One who dares betray the main family again end up like the Grand Elder, along with their entire clan. In half an hour, elders and core members gather in the council hall. We'll reorganize the Lin family elder council. Leaving these words behind, took Mu Xiaoxiao and turned to walk toward the council hall. An hour later, Lin family council hall was silent as death. For a dozen surviving elders sat solemnly on both sides, daring to even breathe loudly. Have all come to a profound realization. The Lin family has now completely risen. Not only has the family head Lin Zhan regained his cultivation, has even become more terrifying than the young Master Lin Fan, whom they always regarded a useless person, now sitting in the main seat. unrefined aura emanating from him, so oppressive that they can hardly breathe. Picked up my teacup and took a gentle sip. Gaze swept over everyone present. Lin family used to be too corrupt. Elder Council is nothing but an empty shell. Actual astonishment. Or struggles. Starting from today, situation must completely changed. On hearing my words, everyone lowered their heads and avoided eye contact. Put down my teacup. Continued, I have decided to establish a brand new institution outside the Elder Council, the Shadow Pavilion, specializing in external intelligence gathering, internal supervision of departments and laws. Master of the Shadow Pavilion answers only to my father and me. Soon as these words were spoken, everyone was shocked in their hearts. This was simply sword of Damocles hanging over everyone's head. Whoever becomes the master of the Shadow Pavilion, just as everyone was guessing. Turned my gaze. The young elder sitting at the last seat. Pajun stepped forward. Pajun, who was called out, suddenly stood up. Quickly walked to the center of the hall. On one knee, young master, what are your orders? Looked at this young man before me. My divine investigation had long discovered that Lin Pajun was not simple. Usually kept a low profile. Secretly he had trained a group of extremely elite dead soldiers. When the Grand Elder tried to seize power before, did not go with the flow. Pajun, I have checked your background. Secretly trained a group of dead soldiers, right? During this sentence, Pajun trembled all over. Trace of shock flashed in his eyes. Quickly concealed it. Young master, your insight is excellent. Don't care what you trained them for before. From today on, for the first master of the Shadow Pavilion, give you the highest authority. Whatever resources you need, just take them. I have only one request. Want you, in the shortest time, extend the reach of the Shadow Pavilion throughout the entire Tianyun Empire. Pajun suddenly raised his head. Eyes were full of fervent light. Had great ambitions. Had no space to display them in the Lin family. I have given him a huge stage. Subordinate Lin Pajun swears loyalty to the young master. Loyalty to the family. Nodded in satisfaction. The period that followed. For my secret manipulation and Lin Pajun's swift, forceful style, Lin family underwent an unprecedented upheaval. Malignant tumors with ulterior motives were uprooted. Large amount of resources was redistributed. Talented young clan members received vigorous cultivation. Entire Lin family needed a kind of precedented vitality and vigor. My father, Ling Zhan, after fully absorbing the nine-turn nirvana, forging his golden core and absorbing the divine water elixir, cultivation advanced as if riding a rocket, quickly breaking through to the ninth perfection of the sea-cleaving realm, one step away from entering the legendary divine roaming record. Course, biggest beneficiary of my father's breakthrough is still me. Affected host's father's realm. It's the ninth perfection of the sea-cleaving realm. Unique passive law penalizes host's realm, synchronously raised by 3 major realms. Congratulations to the host for breaking through to the Saint Venerable realm. Perfection. Listening to the prompt in my mind. Comfortably lay on the rocking chair in the courtyard. Beside me, Mu Xiaoxiao was obediently peeling grapes for me. Saint Venerable realm, This world is already an almost invincible existence. In the heavenly Tao laws of this world, must behave obediently before me. I also know, real crisis has just begun. Our sword sect. Top overlord force of the Tianyun Empire. Foundation. Definitely not as simple as it appears on the surface. Tao Wuji was crippled. Sea-cleaving realm protector was killed. Our sword sect will never let this go. I'm the one who took my mother's keepsake. Destroyed my father's sword bone, the true culprit. Our sword sect saintess, Lin Qingxiu. Probably already plotting how to completely wipe out, kill the Lin family. I'm not worried at all. As not only do I have cheats, I also have a super competitive dad. As I was enjoying this rare moment of leisure, system prompt in my mind suddenly sounded again without warning. This time, the voice actually made a hint of urgent red alert. Urgency mission penalty set. Detected above the ninth heaven. Our sword sect. Saintess Lin Qingxiu has already sensed Xiao Wuji's death. It's forcibly activating a cross-realm teleportation array, preparing to descend upon the Tianyun Empire. Saintess carries with her some kind of additive divine artifact that surpasses the laws of this world. Please prepare immediately. The host of the prosperous husband righteous path system. Can you handle things yourself when you hit a wall? Must upgrade dad's equipment. Dad, go and fight him. Special ultimate anti-pressure gift pack mission issued for the host. Long as the host's father, in the upcoming crisis, successfully withstands Lin Qiu's 10 attacks without dying, system will reward with the source of the Hongmeng Chaos Tao body. Peerless Emperor weapon, immortal execution sword. Bring the system prompt. Suddenly sat up from the rocking chair. Source of the Hongmeng Chaos Tao body and the Peerless Emperor weapon, immortal execution sword. Rewards are just too heaven-defying. Dad fuses with these things. Alone as saintess of the Star Sword sect. I'm the ruler of this universe. Have to kowtow to my dad twice before leaving. Seems time to go talk some sense into my dad again. And know that as a sword cultivator, should face difficulties head-on. Braver with every setback. Never bow his head before a woman. Looked at the thunderclouds gathering faintly in the sky. Corner of my mouth curling into an expectant, wicked smile. Qingxiu, right? Cross-realm teleportation array, right? Better hurry up. Can't wait to see my dad show off. Dark clouds in the sky completely turned into endless blood red. Temperature of the entire Lingyun city instantly dropped to freezing. Wild wind slashed through every corner of the family estate like a knife. Air was filled with a suffocating, terrifying pressure. Of millions of cultivators in the Tianyun Empire melt down at this moment. It was a kind of war that surpassed the limits of this world's laws. Vinestone reached toward the heavens. Void was forcibly torn open by a slender, pale hand. Incomparably beautiful figure, stunning enough to topple a nation. Cold as ice, slowly stepped out. Or white robes, spotless and pure. Stepping on a brilliant Milky Way, danced from endless starlight. There was not a trace of human fear in his eyes. If he were a god high above. Looking down at the ants on the ground. Holy envoy of the Star Sword sect, Lin Xingqiu. Woman who, back then, abandoned my father Jiangu like throwing away trash. One who took from me sword blade that was my mother's engagement token. Has finally arrived. Behind him, followed by hundreds of starry warships that covered the sky. Each warship, filled with the elite disciples of the Star Sword sect. The lowest cultivation above the Tianyuan realm. Leading protectors. Even reached the terrifying half-saint level. Such a lineup, let alone a small. And to flatten the entire Tianyun land. Could be done in the blink of an eye. People in Lingyun City cried out in despair. Neighboring clansmen looked ashen. Legs trembling uncontrollably. Pijuan led the death squad of the Shadow Pavilion. Taking my small courtyard stubbornly. And though they know, such resistance is like trying to stop a chariot with one's bare hands. There is not a trace of retreat in their eyes. Xiao Xiao tightly grabs the corner of my clothes. Tumbling all over. Pat his little hand to signal him not to be afraid. Everything is under control. Staz. Xingqiu is about to give the order to massacre the city. Beam of light, as if splitting heaven and earth. It's up from the side courtyard. Thunderous pillar of lightning, 100 feet thick. Cut straight through the heavens. Roar tearing open a gap in the sky covering, sun-blocking starship. Ripping open a breach. Zhan, clad in a black robe, strode against the current. Head of white hair wildly dancing in the wind. Eyes burning with an unyielding, rebellious battle spirit. Stood alone above the entire Lin family. Bearing all the world-destroying pressure. On his own shoulders. Xingqiu, you deceitful, hypocritical venomous axe. Years ago, you crippled my cultivation and stole my life. Hey, if you dare lay a finger on me, Lin Zhan will risk total annihilation of my soul. To raise a piece of flesh for you. Furious roar of battle shook the heavens. Xingqiu lowered his head to look at the man before him, once. Pulled under his feet as a cripple. Trace of extreme error flashed across his stunningly beautiful face. Actually rebuilt your sword bones. Reached the ninth perfection of sea-opening realm. It is absolutely impossible. Barbaric place like the Tianyun Empire. Could there be such a heaven-defying opportunity? Stared fiercely at Ling Zhan. To see through the secrets on his body. Soon, the error in his eyes turned into even colder murderous intent. What if you miraculously recovered? Ant is still an ant. Hey, I will not only crush you, also skin and tear apart your useless son. Xingqiu slowly raised his right hand. His palm floated a fragment emitting overwhelming black energy. Broken little seal was what the system called. A Taboo divine object that transcends the laws. Despising demon suppression seal. Press for me. Xingqiu shouted. Black seal instantly expanded in the wind, transforming into a primordial demon mountain, carrying world-destroying power. Mashed down fiercely toward Ling Zhan's head. Ling Zhan laughed wildly. Out the slightest retreat. Fast-devouring sword technique, break for me. Thunder rock sword in his hand. Instantly transformed into a roaring thunder dragon. Quickly charging at the primordial demon mountain. Boom. The deafening roar. The entire Lingyun city shake violently. Thunder dragon and demon mountain collided madly in the air. Ling Zhan spat out a mouthful of blood. His body stood firm like a stabilizing pillar. Fixed in the void, not retreating an inch. Sat in the courtyard quietly watching this scene. System prompt sounded right on time. Acted. His father successfully resisted Lin Xingqiu's first attack. More times to complete the task. Raised my eyebrows. Secretly cheering for dad in my heart. In there, Nico. Hold out for 10 rounds. The two of us can take off right here. Xingqiu saw Lin Zhan actually block his own attack. His face turned extremely ugly. A dignified Saint Lord, a mighty figure with a divine artifact, actually failed to instantly kill a bratty spirit. This gets back to the Star Sword sect. Face will he have left as a woman? Man, let's see how long you can last. Demon seal second heaven, demon seal third heaven. Demon seal fourth heaven. Xingqiu formed 3 hand seals in one breath. Eyes of the ancient grinding mountain swelled threefold again. This demonic energy turned into tens of thousands of black blades, raining down on Lin Zhan like a torrential rain. Lin Zhan's eyes were blood red. Chaotic sword energy in his body was pushed to the limit. Let out a great roar. Giant blue lotus condensed around him. 3 petal. Made of pure thunder rock essence. Black blades frantically slashed at the blue lotus. Lin Zhan was covered in blood. Skin kept cracking open. Under the medicinal power of the divine water elixir, it quickly healed. Kind of pain from tearing and reassembling. Ordinary person would faint from it even once. He gritted his teeth. Didn't let out a single cry of pain. Broad back. Face stood firmly in front of me, letting a single trace of demonic energy fall into the neighbor's courtyard. And, as I looked at that blood-soaked, fighting back, eyes couldn't help but grow moist. This is my father. And who would give up his life to protect me. Protection. His father has successfully blocked the 4th attack. Protection. His father has successfully blocked the 5th attack. Protection. His father has successfully blocked the 6th attack. System's voice kept counting down like a death knell. Xingqiu had completely fallen into madness. Couldn't accept that a lower realm ant withstand so many of his attacks. Jean, I want you dead with no remains. Xingqiu suddenly bit through the tip of his tongue. A full of essence blood sprayed onto the black little seal. Ultimate form of the world-destroying demon appeared, 10 directions annihilated. That moment, heaven and earth completely lost their color. Light was swallowed by that demonic seal. Worse that even I, a saint lord at the peak of perfection. My heart trembled in fear, erupted violently. It was definitely beyond the power of a saint lord. The divine power of the revered one. This moment in battle, he was already exhausted. Thunderflame's sword in his hand broke inch by inch. Spiritual power within his body was completely depleted. Barely had any strength left to fight. Still used the last bit of his strength. His head and looked at me deeply. Instead, he urged me to escape quickly. Mother can only help you this far. Reaching that demonic mark, enough to flatten the entire Lingyun. Thunderously. Ash down. Jean closed his eyes, ready to face death. This critical moment. My mind. System notification sounded, as heavenly as music. Acted that the host's father, relying on indomitable willpower, stood 10 attacks beyond the limit. Ultimate stress resistance gift pack mission is successfully completed. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the dispatched Hongmeng Chaos Thief substitute himself. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the peerless imperial weapon, the immortal slaying sword. Gift pack has been automatically stored in the host's space. Would you like to extract it immediately and give it to your father? Suddenly stood up from the rocking chair. Precedented brilliant divine light burst from my eyes. Extract it for me, extract it fiercely. Dad, you've worked hard. Next comes your highlight moment. Raise my hand. The shaky figure in the sky. With a wavering finger. An instant. Purple gold primordial divine light breaks through the void. Quickly pours into Ling Zhan's head. Immediately after, a colored execution sword flowing with immortal sword energy. Fearless ancient sword. Pierces through the heavens. Steadily lands in Ling Zhan's blood-soaked right hand. Zhan, who had originally closed his eyes and awaited death, suddenly opened them wide. Aura even stronger than before. Terrifying presence magnified billions of times. Erupted violently from within him. It was the power of channeling the primordial chaos into his body. Number 1 physique of all ages. Vulnerable to all techniques. Destructible through all tribulations. Injuries on Lin Zhan's body completely healed within 0.01 seconds. Cultivation, which had originally reached the 9th perfection of sea cleaving. Through the propulsion of this supreme, origin-stealing power. And to soar madly. Saint Veneration Stage 1, Saint Veneration Stage 5. Saint Veneration Stage 9 Perfection, Half-Step Divine King Stage. Just the blink of an eye. Lin Zhan's cultivation. Just an insurmountable chasm. Quickly reaching the half-step Divine King Stage that Lin Xiao could only look up to. The immortal execution sword in his hand. Without a joyful sword cry. Terrifying sword aura capable of severing the galaxy. Out into the sky. Quickly splitting the contemptuous demon seal crashing down on his head. To 2 halves. Heck. Sound of the divine battle mist shattering was crisp and pleasant. Xingqiu was struck as if by lightning. Suddenly spat out a mouthful of blood. Stunningly beautiful face was completely twisted. Eyes were filled with undisguisable fear. Possible, absolutely impossible. Just a lower realm Louis. Could you possibly possess the Hongmeng theft body? Grade of divine weapon are you holding in your hand? Only Lin Xingqiu. Everyone present was dumbfounded. And family members even forgot to breathe. Family head who was about to be annihilated a second ago. Next second. Truly erupted with divine power that could shake heaven and earth. Zhan did not respond to Lin Xingqiu's nonsense. Felt the force within him. Powerful enough to destroy heaven and earth. The ancient immortal execution sword in his hand. Connected to his bloodline. Knew. Was once again his mysterious and unfathomable son. Secretly helping him. Oh, he didn't know how his son did it. He knew. It was his turn as a father to avenge his son. Xingqiu, you took my 7 obligations and broke my sword bones. I survived today. Will use your head. Honor the dignity bestowed upon my Lin family. Zhan slowly raised the executioner sword. Pointed at Lin Xingqiu. Xingqiu's beautiful face turned pale as she retreated again and again. Stop him quickly. Protect me, protect me. Tons of half-step saint protectors from the Star Sword sect themselves and charged forward to trap Lin Zhan with a formation. Zhan only sneered coldly. Actually swung the executioner's sword. Then and earth fell silent. 4-colored sword light. Leapt out with unstoppable force. No screams. No blood. Just dozens of half-step saint protectors. Along with the hundreds of star warships behind them. Through this sword. Instantly turned to cosmic dust. Completely erased from this world. Instant kill, a true instant kill. Xingqiu was utterly broken. Foundation he was so proud of. As fragile as paper before Lin Zhan. A thud, he knelt in the void. No longer had the arrogance from before. Zhan, you can't kill me. I'm the saintess of the Star Sword sect. Have a soul mark planted by the ancestor. You kill me. Ancestor will never let the entire Tianyun Empire go. There's not a trace of pity in Lin Zhan's eyes. Ancestor? And if the King of Heaven himself came, you must die today. A flash of light. Xingqiu's stunning head flew high into the air. Eyes still filled with endless regret. Generations' pride of the Star Sword sect thus fell. Entire Lin family. Erupted in cheers like a coral sea tsunami. Crisis was over. Survived. However, when everyone thought it was all over. Sudden change and loud noise. Lin Qingqiu's headless corpse. Blinding blood-colored rune suddenly burst out. Rune in the void. Li outlined a massive cross-border blood formation. Deep, hoarse, supremely oppressive roar. From the other end of the blood formation. Dares to kill Wu Zongqing's daughter. A rumble, a giant hand covered in greenish scales. Slowly reached out from the blood formation, covering the sky. Aura emitted from just the palm. Lingzhan, who had just broken through to the half-step Divine King realm, still suffocated, was an existence beyond the Divine King realm. Was a true divine brain. Supreme ancestor of the Star Sword sect. Blood hand grabbed Lin Qingqiu's soul, attempting to resurrect him. At the same time, a tidal wave of murderous intent done to Lingzhan and the entire Lin family. Or to completely refine your summer. To a sea of blood. With such an irresistible, terrifying existence. Ears of the Lin family abruptly stopped. Once again plunged into deeper despair. Zhan gripped the immortal execution sword tightly, ready for a final desperate battle. This moment. Corners of my mouth sitting in the courtyard curled up wildly. As the system prompt in my mind. No longer be suppressed. Detected host's father killing a powerful enemy. Pleaded a brutal challenge. Detected. Host's father has reached half-step Divine King realm. Unique passive law penalty, host's realm. Synchronously raised by 3 major realms. Its cultivation breaks through to immortal divine emperor realm. Boom. That moment. Felt as if billions of universes exploded inside me. So-called heavenly laws and great Tao origins. Trampled under my feet. Mortal divine emperor. Just a breath. Could destroy 3,000 great worlds. Raised my head. Looking at the arrogant scaled giant hand in the sky. Trace of disdainful mockery flashed in my eyes. Dare touch my dad? Didn't even move a finger. Silently thought get lost in my heart. An invisible advancing law. Instantly crossed endless barriers. Slammed hard into that giant hand. Crack, accompanied by a tooth-aching crunch. Giant hand emitting divine pressure. Inch by inch. Bloated into a cloud of blood mist. The other end of the blood formation. The ancestor's heart-wrenching scream. Possible. What kind of power is this? Is it Imperial warning? Ancestor's voice was filled with unprecedented terror. Frantically trying to close the blood formation and escape. How could I let him succeed? To my doorstep. Did tough and now wants to run? Could there be such a cheap thing in the world? System also jumped out cooperatively at this moment. Detected Star Sword sect ancestor attempting to escape. Specially issued a pursue victory gift pack for the host. Long as the host's father. This is realms to kill the Star Sword sect ancestor. Be rewarded with the supreme skill one sword cuts through past and present. Divine revival technique. Eyes instantly lit up at this reward. Divine revival technique. This can pull the dead. From the river of time, a miracle. I have this. I uncover. Truth of my mother's disappearance years ago? Another chance for dad to shine. Immediately called the system in my heart. Of the comprehension of one sword cuts through past and present. Directly into dad's mind. Zhan, who was struggling and ready to fight to the death. Suddenly felt. Incomparably profound supreme insight in his mind. Ice that transcended time and space. Turned his head in disbelief. Looked in my direction. Instantly understood it was his precious son at work again. Zhan laughed up to the sky. Spirited son. Watch closely, dad's going to chop up this old toad for you. You a stepping stone. Wielded the immortal execution sword, turning into a stream of light. Quickly charging into the still open cross-border blood formation. King into the upper realm. Domineering scene shocked the entire city. People of the Tianyun Empire. Truly counterattacked into the upper realm. Cross-realm blood array shook violently. Through the formation. Could vaguely see the stars of the upper realm. Sword sect's 10,000-mile divine mountain. Zhan was like a tiger among sheep. Wherever the immortal slaying sword light passed, divine mountains collapsed. Electric fish shattered. Ancestor who had just lost a hand. So scared he pissed himself. Crazily for mercy, fellow Taoist, spare me. All a misunderstanding. Willing to offer all the treasures of the Star Sword sect. Late, go to hell and repent. Zhan roared in fury. Leashed the bone-cutting essence sword he had just comprehended. Dazzling sword light beyond words. Instantly sliced through the river of time. Covered the ancestor's past. Present and future all at once. Ancestor of the Star Sword sect was utterly annihilated, body and soul. Even qualified for reincarnation. Famous Star Sword sect, under the sword. Completely destroyed. Zhan carried the ancestor's head. Stepped out of the blood array with pride. Whole audience was silent. Erupted in cheers that shook the heavens. Family head is invincible. Neighbor is invincible. Dad is simply awesome. System prompt as promised. Congratulations to the host's father for successfully crossing realms and slaying a powerful enemy. Task completed. Ord, God-level revival number issued. Ord has been automatically transferred to the host's father's body. Zhan had just landed. Suddenly felt a warm energy surge in to his limbs and bones. Was pleasantly surprised to find this energy actually had the power to restore his origin. Rushed to me at once. Trembling with excitement. You see Dad's arrow? It not only avenged you, also destroyed the entire Star Sword sect. Smiled and gave a thumbs up. Dad is #1 in the world. Matched. Zhan's eyes turned slightly red. Hands trembled. Took out the broken jade pendant he had kept close to him. Broken jade pendant. Was the token that Lin Qingqiu snatched from him back then. He had just taken it back. Was also the only thing left by my mother. Instead, father has godlike power. Mother will surely use this divine-level revival technique. Find Mother's whereabouts through this jade pendant. Then, Mother was forcibly taken away by a group. All over. Shrouded in golden light, mysterious people. Dead Mother's bloodline was incomparably noble. Mortals were not worthy to interact with her. Hey, Father will see for himself. Those so-called lofty beings really are. Facing them, he took a deep breath. Activated the divine-level revival technique within him. Injected spiritual power into the jade pendant. Jade pendant burst forth with dazzling 9-colored divine light. Holographic phantoms slowly unfolded in midair. The scene. Endless, supreme immortal realm appeared. Endless powerful gods born over 600 million times. All in submission before a magnificent underground palace. On the throne of the underground palace. It's a woman of peerless beauty. Eyes are filled with sorrow. Gaze seems to pierce through the ages and the void. Teaching us, father and son, Zhanggu. The contrary, you must never come looking for me. I'm the empress of the divine realm. Then, I only ended up in the mortal world to escape my enemies. My enemies have locked onto my location. Can only go back to face them. Zhanggu, take good care of Fanner. Possible, let him live his whole life as an ordinary person. Scene abruptly ends here. Zhan stood dumbfounded, tears streaming down his face. My wife is actually the empress of the divine realm. She was forced to leave to protect us. Ordinary person. Could the son of Lin Zhan be an ordinary person? Zhan fiercely wiped away his tears. Unprecedented determination burst forth in his eyes. Instead, Father has decided. Father will shatter the void and ascend to the divine realm. And if gods and Buddhas fill the road ahead to block me, Father will shoot them all down with a single arrow. Your mother home in grand style. Looking at my father's high-spirited appearance, heart was simply bursting with joy. Divine realm is great. Divine realm is wonderful. Must be even more powerful experts in the divine realm. Strength must be even greater. Long as Dad goes to the divine realm to crazily fight monsters and level up, outdo those mysterious beings. And as the immortal God Emperor, wouldn't I be able to directly break through to the universe? Create worlds or something. Dad, I support you 100%. Let's go to the divine realm and dominate everywhere. Cheer you on from the lower realm. Zhan comfortingly patted my head, good son. Stay home and wait for Dad's good news. Prevent anyone from bullying you after I leave. Leave the Shadow Pavilion to you. Personal made Mu Xiaoxiao's father. Also used divine power to restore his eyesight. Granted him a stroke of fortune. Now on, let him protect you for me. Soon as he finished speaking, Xiao Xiao ran out from the back hall. Black cloth that had covered his eyes was gone, placed by a pair of beautiful, clear spirit pupils like autumn water. Only had he regained his sight and cultivation. Was even directly elevated by Dad to the Tianyuan realm. Master, Xiao Xiao will never be a burden again. Xiao Xiao will protect Miss for a lifetime. Xiao Xiao threw himself into my arms excitedly, swelling up as he spoke. Gently patted his back. Secretly delighted, Dad is just too thoughtful. Even arranged a bodyguard for me. The following months, Lin family became the absolute overlord of the Tianyun Empire and the entire Jiuzhou continent. Imperial family personally delivered a 10,000-year dragon vein, cutting their heads and pledging allegiance to the Lin family. Zhan handed all family affairs to the Shadow Pavilion master, Lin Pejuan. He himself went into seclusion, preparing to break through the world's limits and ascend to the divine realm. As for me, completely settled into a simple, laid-back life, bathing in the courtyard every day, eating the fresh fruit dumplings made by Mu Xiaoxiao. Nothing to do. Just use the God Emperor's divine stone. Scan. So-called geniuses still bitterly cultivating in seclusion. Watching them cry tears of joy. For breaking through a small realm. Can't help but sigh. Cultivating immortality is really too hard. Luckily, I have a good father. Finally, on that morning, auspicious signs filled the sky above Lingyun City. Colored auspicious clouds covered the heavens. Mortal music echoed. Zhan, with one sword, lit open the void gate to the divine realm. Wore golden armor and held the immortal slaying sword. Glanced back at me and the Lin family. Instead, he said he'd be back soon. After saying that, he turned into a dazzling rainbow. Resolutely stepped into the gate of the divine realm. Watching father's departing figure, stretched lazily in comfort. Sky returned to calm. Facial rift left by father's ascension, completely closed. Lay on the rocking chair in the yard, made from ancient agarwood, comfortably stretching out in a big lazy yawn. Light filtered through the leaves, shining on my face. Warm and drowsy, making me sleepy. Xiao Xiao obediently squatted beside me, holding his pair of fair, jade-like little hands, fully wrapping. Crystal clear snowy Bodhi seed. Master and family head have gone to the divine realm. Can we be a bit more restrained in the lower realm? Xiao blinked those eyes blessed by his father. Exquisitely beautiful spiritual tube that regrew. There's a hint of anxious concern in her tone. Chewed the sweet and juicy Bodhi fruit in my mouth. Couldn't help but laugh out loud. I restrain myself, what's the point of restraint? Ooh, young master. I'm a man destined to win effortlessly across all heavens and worlds. And if the sky falls, my father will hold it up. And if my father can't hold it up, still me, the invincible good son of this world. As the two of us master and servant were chatting idly, suddenly, outside the courtyard came extremely hurried and heavy footsteps. Shadow Pavilion Master Lin Pejuan is sweating profusely, rushing into the courtyard in a panic, kneeling heavily on the blue stone slab with one knee. Young master's situation is dire. Dragon statue of the demon lord on the continent of 10,000 demons, turned into ice along with hundreds of thousands of demons. The border of our Tianyun Empire. ancestor of the sea god island, Fu Hai, king 3,000 elite sea tribes. King our Lingyun city defenseless. Spreading rumors that the family head has ascended to the divine realm. Lin family is now like a tiger that has lost its teeth. Out a leader. Are clamoring. Ending we surrender all the family's assets. Looting the 10,000-year-old dragon vein. They will slaughter everyone in the Lin family. Leaving no one alive. Bring Lin Pajuan's anxious report. Not only felt no panic. Sat up straight with excitement. When one is sleepy, someone offers a pillow. My father was here. Old monsters wouldn't even dare to fart. That my father has just left. Couldn't wait to jump out right after. Ting like clowns. Incidentally, I've been so idle lately that my bones are almost rusting. Worrying about having nothing fun to kill time with. Slowly stood up from the rocking chair. Getting off dust that didn't even exist on my clothes. Let's go, young master. Hey, I'll take you to the city wall to watch a monkey show. Inside Lingyun City, dark clouds are already pressing down. Onic aura soaring to the sky. Once clear sky is now covered by thick black clouds. Then sunlight can't penetrate. Three-headed ancient dragon, 1,000 zhang long. Spirals above the sky. Hitting a nauseating aura of death. Up the ancient dragon's head. Stands a giant, bald sea creature. Body is covered in black scales. Wields a blood-dripping flower axe. Absolute overlord of the continent, dragon-like demon lord. Meanwhile, in midair on the other side. Blue giant star. Massive as a mountain. Floats quietly. Back of the gathering star. Sitting upright holding. Golden trident and with a head full of blue hair. Uttering in the wind, an old man. Old man is the ancestor of Fu Hai, who has ruled the endless seas. Tens of thousands of years. Two are both renowned half-step saints in the 9 provinces. Respected powerhouses. Or my father rose to power. Or the insurmountable legends of this world. Coward Lin Zhan abandoned you bunch of useless people. Ascended to the divine realm by himself. How? Can possibly save you pitiful ants? Dragon Demon Lord let out a deafening, wild laugh. Laughter. It's formed into a sinister wave in the stone formation of Lingyun City. In the sturdy city walls. And to crumble and bricks started falling. In family disciples and shadow pavilion death warriors on the stone walls. Their legs trembled. Their faces were pale. A single one retreated even half a step. Ancestor Fu Hai stroked his long beard. Echoed from the side. And over the 10,000-year dragon vein and the Lin family treasury. And be merciful. Consider sparing the Lin family some power. You dare utter even half a word of refusal. Hey, Lingyun City. Be the grave for all of you. Pajun fiercely drew the long blade from his waist. Blade pointed straight at the 2 powerhouses above the sky. Lin family only dies standing. Or kneels to live like cowards. You want the Lin family's heritage. Step over my corpse first. Bunch of ants dare. Defy my will, truly ignorant of death. Dragon Demon Lord snorted coldly. His huge palm suddenly. Slammed it down towards the city wall. Palm carried world-destroying power. If it would turn Lingyun City quickly into a pile of flesh. Terrifying gale. It's down on everyone atop the city wall. King even breathing difficult. Pajun knew he absolutely couldn't withstand this blow. He still gritted his teeth. To burn his soul and fight to the death. This critical moment. Let out a long yawn. Leisurely walking up along the city wall. Dear, what's all the noise so early in the morning? Didn't even get a good sleep. Rubbed my sleepy eyes while stretching. Casually snapped my fingers. A crisp pop. Sounded particularly harsh amidst the noisy battlefield. A chilling rage erupted. Again. The Demon Lord's originally sky-covering giant hand. Hitting an invisible ancient god. Suddenly shattered into pieces mid-air. Transforming into a rain of bloody stench. Ah, my hand. The dragon, let out a scream. Scream of despair. Impossible. Did his bare wrist in horror. Eyes full of extreme fear and incomprehension. Ooh. Secretly ambushed me, show yourself. Entire scene instantly fell silent. Everyone's gaze focused on me, a boy dressed in loose silk pajamas. King harmless. Pajuan trembled with excitement. Suddenly knelt on one knee. Master, you finally took action. Ancestor Fu Hai looked at me. Furrowed brow. Or the useless son of Lin Zhan. Could you possibly handle the power of the dragon and demon lord? Level 1. Must be some ancient powerful being. Behind as a safeguard. Blue, right. Sighed helplessly. Fully fearless in ignorance. Didn't even bother to look at old ancestor Fu Hai. Turned my gaze to snarling 3-headed skull dragon in the sky. Rib dragon looks too ugly and a bit distracting. Little one, what do you think? Xiao Xiao carefully examined it. Obediently nodded. Any bones. Little meat, not good for making soup. Laughed heartily. Stretched out a slender, fair finger. Lee drew a line toward the ancient dragon in the sky. Down, rumbling. Indescribable force. Instantly crossed space. Developed the 1,000 Zhang ancient dragon. Was a beast comparable to the sea-cleaving path. Fearless monster at the ninth peak. Under my casual will. Was like a loach with its tendons pulled. Out a shrill, miserable scream. Straight down from the sky. A loud bang. Massive ancient dragon. Really crashed onto the wilderness outside Lingyun City. Forcefully. Ate a huge, bottomless meteor crater. Dragon Demon Lord and Ancestor Fu Hai were completely dumbfounded. 100,000 great demons they brought. 3,000 elite Sea Clan warriors. So terrified that even their weapons fell to the ground. King a clattering sound. Is this possible? Even in the year of imminent battle. was absolutely never such an easy. Dual defeat of the three-headed Bone King, right? Voice of Ancestor Rohai was trembling violently. Finally realized. The girl before him, always regarded by them as greatest waste of the neighboring family. Absolutely someone 100,000 times more terrifying than a spirit warrior. And 1,000,000 times more, an ultimate realm. Retreat quickly. Full army retreat. Ancestor Fuhai made a snap decision. Frantically activated the blue giant well beneath his feet. His massive body to flee. The demon lord ignored the intense pain of his severed hand. Formed into a streak of black light. Aiming desperately toward the direction of the 10,000 demon continent. And go as you please. Whenever you want. Think my home is the entrance to a vegetable market? Sneered. Right foot lightly tapped the blue bricks of the city wall. Laws of heaven and earth. This moment completely obeyed my command. Base within 100,000 miles. Instantly turned into the hardest prison in the world. Xiang Demon Lord and Ancestor Fuhai. Like two headless flies. Fiercely crashed into the invisible spatial barrier. Two loud bangs. Two half-step supreme. Weird peerless powerhouses. Bounced back by the counter-array force. Really thrown into the muddy ground outside Lingyun City. Sitting in an extremely miserable dog-eating mud fashion. Placed my hands behind my back. Strolling leisurely in a courtyard. Slowly floated down from the city wall. Directly up to them. Now you said you'd exterminate my Lin family. Leave me without a corpse. Xiang Demon Lord and Ancestor Fuhai, now like lost souls. In the mud without a shred of dignity. Frantically kowtowing and begging for mercy. Master, spare us. We're blind and failed to recognize Mount Tai. We're blind as dogs to offend a true god. Treat us as farts and let us go. Willing to offer all of myriad demon continent and god islands. And earth treasures. Serve the Lin family as masters for generations. Most loyal dogs of the Lin family. Looking at their tail wagging, pitiful. Full faces. Felt utterly bored. Was planning to play with them a bit longer. Stretch my muscles and bones. These two old guys are so spineless. Bones are softer than those little demons. Turned to look. Lin Pujuan, who stood on the city wall, dumbfounded. Pujuan, find some people. Pull their cultivation down to mortal level for me. Pull them into our Lin family's kitchen to chop wood, boil water, and sweep. For those 100,000 great demons and 3,000 elite sea clans. Send them all as slaves. Send them to the back mountain to mine. Pujuan snapped back to his senses. He's flushed with excitement, loudly accepted the order. Master, your subordinate will handle it right away. Guarantee everything will be arranged perfectly. Citizens of Yuancheng and Lin family disciples. Shout in thunderous cheers. Master is invincible. Long live the Lin family. Originally thought that after the family had ascended, Lin family would completely fall from grace and be at others' mercy. Never expected. Master Lin Fan was the true hidden demon king. Unshakable pillar of heaven. Ching the cheering, jumping crowd. Secretly found it funny. It is just the beginning. I'm an immortal god emperor who has mastered the embryonic laws of creation. Dealing with these summer season small fries. Didn't even count as a warm-up. For handling these trivial summer troubles. Returned to the rocking chair in the courtyard. Down comfortably. Xiao Xiao peeled another grape. Popped it into my mouth. Just as I was about to close my eyes. Take a nap. Long missed system prompt sounded in my mind. Acted. Its father Lin Zhan has successfully crossed the world barrier. Entered the divine realm. Currently at the divine realm's ninth heaven, ascension pool. Danger alert. Its father. Countered the local power of the divine realm. Ruthless and mighty Sky Blue God Clan. Sky Blue God Clan's young master covets. Fearless imperial weapon, the immortal slaying sword, in host's father's hand. Tends to forcibly seize it. Abolish host's father's divine foundation. Host, please respond immediately. Otherwise, host's father will face total annihilation of body and soul. Piercing alarm in my mind. Made me sit up abruptly. Old glint flashed in my eyes. The Sky Blue God Clan. Dad just stepped into the divine realm. Hasn't even had a proper breath of its air. You local bullies of the divine realm. Already want to ride on my dad's head and shit. Dad is my ultimate cheat for invincibility. You touch a single hair on him. Blocking my path to godhood. Must be tired of living. System. Activate the divine realm father's love like a mountain combo gift pack for me. Roared inwardly through gritted teeth. It's the people of the divine realm don't play by the rules. I'll give Dad a dimensionality reduction strike. The Super Tycoon. Congratulations, host, for successfully activating the divine realm father's love like a mountain combo gift pack. Gained divine realm exclusive item, Supreme Divine Law. Ripped another one. Gained primordial creation. The defensive artifact, Eternal Immortal God Emperor Armor, full set. Gained one divine realm Heavenly Dao experience card. Valid for half an hour. Rewards have been delivered via the system comfort interface. Strictly bound to the host's father's soul. Affected host's strong desire to protect father. Extra gift, cross-realm live broadcast like Fury. Can, in the lower realm. Your father's awesome moments in the divine realm in real time. Bring these rewards. Anger in my heart instantly dissipated by more than half. Anticipation in my daughter's eyes was like watching a good show. System is simply too considerate. Gripping the divine law and even creation level divine armor. The Heavenly Dao experience card. It isn't ascending. It is basically going to the divine realm to be a living king of hell. Leisurely lay back in my rocking chair. Xiao, go to the storeroom. Out the jar of fine nectar that's been aged for 5,000 years. Get here, young master. Hey, I want a drink while watching a grand show in the divine realm. Xiao Xiao nodded obediently. Dashed off to the corner. Snapped my fingers. The void before me. Huge holographic light screen instantly appeared. Image in the light screen gradually became clear. It was a vast, boundless white jade plaza, bounded by swirling clouds and mist, thing with immortal energy. The center of the plaza was a huge pool radiating seven-colored divine light. It was the divine realm's ascension reception. At this very moment, just ascended white-haired father, Ling Zhan, holding the immortal slaying sword, standing alone at the edge of the ascension pool. Around him, layer upon layer, divine soldiers and generals clad in silver divine armor. One of these divine generals could be picked at random. Their cultivation has reached the half-step divine king realm of the lower world. Directly in front of these divine generals stands a slick and handsome man of the divine race dressed in 9 luxurious robes, shaking a folding fan inlaid with star stone. Look in his eyes as he gazes at my father, filled with lofty contempt, undisguised greed. This young man, none other than Yun Wuji, the young master of the Sky Blue Divine Clan, and from the lower world, to ascend to 9th heaven abyss governed by my Sky Blue Divine Clan. His fortune earned over 8 lifetimes of cultivation. Wuji pointed his folding fan at my father, tone extremely arrogant. Hand over the sword in your hand. Obediently kneel. Swear. Be a mining slave for my Sky Blue Divine Clan for all your lifetimes. This young master is in a good mood today. I'd consider sparing your dog life. Otherwise, the young master will now drain your ascension source dry, throw you into the 9 nether inferno. Warriors must not use ultrasound. The eyes of light, that's my father. Zhan spat on the ground with utter disdain. Foam. Suffered a minor injury just now when crossing the world barrier. Doesn't affect his arrogance in the slightest. Want Grandpa Lin to be your slave? You, a brat who hasn't even grown all his hair yet? Father let out a cold laugh. Mortal execution sword in his hand let out a crisp, sword secret. Rampage through the 9 provinces in the lower realm. Ancestors were still rolling in the mud. You want to fight, then fight. So much nonsense. Wuji's eyes widened. Face instantly turned ashen. Has presided over this ascension pool for tens of thousands of years. Never has any lower realm ascender to speak to him like this. Use a toast only to drink a forfeit. Remember him for me. Want that sword returned to me intact. A single command from Yun Wuji. For 100 divine generals around simultaneously erupted with defying waves of divine power. Sorts of world-destroying divine arts and spells. Darted toward my father like a raging storm. Just as my father was preparing to fight to the death. Clear, ethereal notification only he could hear. In his mind, ding. Good son. Fan. Sent you the Divine Realm Novice Village Counterattack Gift Pack. Mortal Eternal Divine Emperor Armor Auto-Equipped. Supreme Divine Law Deprivation Order activated for you. Divine Realm Heavenly Dao Experience Card is now in effect. The light of his eyes clearly saw my father's expression first freeze, and turn into wild joy. Was all too familiar with this routine. Every time he was in a desperate situation, seemingly lazy precious son of his always managed to pull off some world-shattering feat. Just as the attacks of over 100 divine generals about to land on my father. Head of purple gold divine armor exuding chaotic energy appeared out of thin air on my father. Terrifying attacks, enough to easily destroy countless star domains in the lower realms. Struck the divine armor. Didn't even spark a single ember. If a gentle breeze brushed over a hill, leaving no trace at all. Whole place fell instantly silent. Wuji's hand holding the folding fan froze in midair. Eyes nearly popped out. Is this possible? And the elders of the divine clan didn't dare take combined blow of so many divine generals head on. Could a newly ascended lower realm ant like you possess a defensive artifact of this level? Father completely ignored his nonsense, feeling the terrifying power within. If he could control very laws of the divine realm. Corners of my father's mouth moved into an extremely cruel smile. Little brat, aren't you shouting so happily just now? Oh, it's your Grandpa Lin's turn. Father slowly raised his right hand. His palm appeared a simple, unadorned black token. Deprivation order activated. Divine law collapses. Father shouted loudly. Token in his hand suddenly erupted with billions of black divine rays. Those rays, like venomous snakes with eyes, instantly burrowed into all the divine soldiers and divine generals around. Something hair-raising happened. For 100 lofty divine generals suddenly screamed in terror. Divine armor on them shattered inch by inch. Divine power within them, like a breached dam, out madly. Skin began to shrivel. Eyes once filled with divine radiance instantly turned turbid and dull. Cultivation, my divinity. Can't I sense the laws of heaven and earth? Help. Young master, save us. Just 3 breaths. For 100 elite divine beings, all stripped of their divine laws, instantly falling from exalted gods. Ripples worse than mortals. Collapsed by the ascension pool, wailing. Wuji's legs also went weak. Fell to his knees on the ground. His cultivation wasn't stripped. Had witnessed this unbelievable scene with his own eyes. It was no lower realm ant. It was practically an ancient divine emperor descending. Who are you really? Definitely not an ordinary lower realm cultivator. Been hiding your cultivation, haven't you? Wuji's voice trembled as he crawled backward. Previous arrogance long since vanished into thin air. Father, holding the immortal slaying sword, step by step, up to Yun Wuji. The tip against his throat. Who am I? Grandpa Lin never changes his name or his surname. Zhan of the Tianyun Empire. Father looked down at him coldly. Just wanted to ascend quietly. Find my wife. You insisted on jumping out to seek death. Don't blame me for being ruthless and merciless. Just as my father was about to strike with his sword. Finish off this young master of the divine clan. Above the 9 heavens. Suddenly, a furious roar shattered the starry river. Arrogant brat, move my son? Bring your life here. Giant hand. And purely from destructive thunder, 10,000 feet tall. Through the sky. Carrying a supreme divine might capable of erasing all living beings. Slammed down fiercely toward my father. Yun Wuji saw this giant hand. Immediately clung to it like a drowning man grabbing a lifeline. Burst into wild laughter. Ha ha ha. Father is here. Patriarch of my sky blue divine clan is here. Jean, you're dead for sure. And if you have a divine artifact protecting you, hey, you'll still be crushed to pieces. This moment, I took a small sip. Freshly poured nectar. Couldn't help but shake my head. Just the young ones come, then the old ones, this routine. They're in the lower or upper realms. Really hasn't changed at all. Unfortunately for you. Hey, you haven't just kicked an iron plate. The hardest steel plate in the universe. My eyes. Father faced that terrifying thunder hand. Not the slightest hint of retreat. Slightly raised his head. Trace of extreme madness flashed deep in his eyes. Patriarch of the divine clan, huh? Hey, I'll let you taste. The heavenly Tao really feels like. Father unhesitatingly crushed that divine realm. Heavenly Tao experience card. As the entire ninth heaven abyss instantly fell into absolute stillness at that moment. Then stopped, the clouds scattered. And that world-destroying thunder hand rose in midair. Able to fall. Supreme, indescribable, seeable terrifying will. Erupted from within my father. This moment. Father, Lin Zhan, was the heavenly Tao of this divine realm. Words became law. Controlled the life and death, the cycle of all beings. Father casually uttered a single word. Thunderhand, 10,000 feet tall. Instantly cracked like glass. Exploded with a boom. Into countless bolts of lightning, dissipating between heaven and earth. Of the sky. True form of the Sky Blue Divine Clan's patriarch was revealed. Vine being wearing a purple gold crown. This moment, his face was filled with terror as he looked down. That white-haired man. Whole body trembling uncontrollably. Will of the heavenly Tao? Is this possible? Who, a mere mortal from the lower realm? Could you borrow the power of the divine realm's heavenly Tao? Sky Blue Patriarch was scared out of his wits. Without hesitation turned to tear open space and flee for his life. To run? Have you asked the sword in my hand? Father sneered. Actually swung the immortal execution sword forward. Dazzling sword energy. Overwhelming momentum. With the power of the heavenly Tao. Sword. Quickly crossed the distance of time and space. An instant. Sky Blue Patriarch, far away 10,000 miles. Suddenly jerked. Thin line of blood appeared between his brows. His divine soul, along with his immortal divine body, silently turned to nothingness. One sword, he slew the Sky Blue Divine Clan's patriarch. Wuji was utterly broken. A puddle of yellow liquid flowed from his crotch. He was literally scared to death and fainted on the spot. Father put away the immortal execution sword. Out a long breath. Time for the heavenly Tao experience card ended. Supreme power faded away like the tide. It lasted only half an hour. Father took the opportunity. Fully comprehend the laws of the divine realm. His cultivation once again underwent an incredible surge. Divine realm's cultivation is divided into divine human, divine general, divine king, divine lord, divine emperor. Father originally only had half a step into the divine king realm. After absorbing the heavenly Tao from the dissipated Tianlan clan leader himself. Afterwards, cultivation began skyrocketing like a rocket. Stage divine king great perfection. Stage divine venerable. Only when you reached the peak of divine venerable did it slowly stop. It just ascended less than a day ago. Already became a renowned figure in the divine realm. Divine venerable level powerhouse who shook an entire region. This news got out. Likely all the geniuses in the divine realm must be ashamed as a collective self. Courtyard below. Watched my father, radiant and spirited. Couldn't help but clap and cheer, well done, Dad. The more you fool me, your son, the more invincible you become. Enough. Wonderful sound of the system. Dived in my mind as expected. Detected host. Father accomplished an incredible comeback in the divine realm. Slapping detected. His father's cultivation broke through to the peak of divine respect. Only passive law triggered. Host's realm synchronizes and surpasses the father's by 3 major realms. Time, rumbling thunder. Emotion within my body. Countless times greater than any previous occasion. Was originally already at the cultivation of an immortal God Emperor. Through the impetus of this heaven-defying law. Directly broke through the limits of the God Emperor. Stepped into a mysterious realm. No one in history has ever set foot in. Great perfection of the creation God Tao. This instant, my body became illusory and translucent. Body actually began to evolve countless universes on its own. Stars, sun, moon, and constellations flowed through my meridians. 3,000 Tao laws flourished endlessly in my Dantian. No longer within this universe. This universe is under my control. Just a slight thought can completely annihilate the 9 provinces continent of the lower realm. Another thought, I can revive all things. Turn everything to primordial chaos. This is the power of the creation God. I'm experiencing this indescribable ultimate. Extremely invincible couldn't help but gently probe feelings. Invincibility is truly too lonely. To even find an opponent who can make me break a sweat. Find a single opponent. Just as I was filled with emotion, sky over the 9 provinces continent suddenly turned pitch black as ink. Wasn't clouds covering the sun. Pure darkness devouring all light. Ancient evil. Aura of ultimate decay. Erupted from the deepest part of the 9 provinces continent. Out from the abyss at the earth's core. Crack. Entire land of the 9 provinces began to shake violently. Countless mountains collapsed. Rivers were severed in an instant. The terrifying laughter from ages past exploded in the minds of all lower realm beings. 1 million years have passed. I, the Demon Emperor, finally broken through the damned divine realm seal. Sky Blue God Clan. Despicable scoundrels. Killed me away in the summer. Today, I will return to the world. To absorb all the living beings of this 9 provinces continent. Store the original source. The divine miracle. Hearing this voice, I raised my eyebrows. So it was suppressed by the Tianlan clan. Old monster suppressed in summer by the Blue God clan. It's like my old man slaughtered the Tianlan clan leader above. Using the seal to loosen and letting this guy escape. Looked at the face in the sky condensing into a physical form. Huge membrane face. Couldn't help but reflect. Happened to break through the creation god mirror. Looking for a punching bag to practice on. Look, the punching bag delivered itself to my door. Xiao, step back a little. Let this ugly monster's national flag dirty your clothes. Said gently to Mu Xiao. Xiao obediently retreated under the eaves, holding a crystal plate full of grapes. Ice full of worship and admiration. Abyssal Demon Emperor in the sky. Really sensed the darkness in the direction of Lingyun City. Giant eyes, like blood-red lakes. Stared fixedly at the courtyard where I was. Actually an annoying person here whose cultivation I can't see through. Abyssal Demon Emperor let out a puzzled sound. Transformed into a black hurricane that blotted out the sky and sun. Instantly descended above Lingyun City. You see this Demon Emperor? Do you not kneel? Isn't even a single god-level expert in this world. Now the sole ruler of this Jojo continent. And over your soul. Will grant you the position of my first god. Demon Emperor was arrogant to the extreme. Terrifying demonic energy. It's the entire population of Lingyun City to the ground. Able to move. See the small courtyard where I was. Seemed isolated from the world. Soon as that demonic energy approached the courtyard wall, it was like snowflakes falling into magma. Instantly vaporized and dissipated. Lay on the rocking chair without even opening my eyes. Lazily stretched. You're kind of ancient junk from 1,000,000 years ago. Dare call yourself ruler? Give you 3 seconds. Go back to wherever you came from. Otherwise, guarantee you won't even have the chance to become a ghost. Abyssal Demon Emperor was stunned. Never expected. A seemingly harmless young man. Dare speak to him in such a tone. Was, after all, a peerless demon from ancient times. Once made even the gods tremble in fear. Death, ignorant fool on the rocking chair. Swallow you in one bite. Demon Emperor flew into a rage. Opened his abyss-like bloody maw. Transformed into an endless devouring darkness. Bit fiercely toward the entire small courtyard. Force was so sharp it even tore space apart. Feeling chaotic black spatial rifts. I still didn't get up. Just raised my right hand in boredom. Pressed my index and middle fingers together. Gently pointed at the Abyssal Demon Emperor in midair. Transparent energy thread as thin as a hair. Got out from my fingertip. Its energy looked completely powerless. Couldn't even move a leaf. The moment it was released, entire time across the 9 provinces continent seemed to come to a halt. Pupils of abyssal mode contracted violently at this moment. Sensed the power contained within that transparent aura. It was far beyond the divine path. And surpassed the foundational laws he knew. Oh, what is this power? Who on earth are you? Let out a desperate and shrill roar. Struggling to withdraw his attack and escape. It was already too late. Transparent artifact. Actually pierced through mode. So-called indestructible demon god body. There's no earth-shattering explosion. Any dazzling special effects in the abyss. Its colossal body that blotted out the sky. Like ice and snow under the sun. Gradually melting away in the breeze. Turning into countless black specks of light. Completely dissipating between heaven and earth. In his original soul. Directly wiped out by that creation aura. Traced without a trace. His appearance to his fall. It was only half an hour in total. 100,000 great demons and elite sea poison troops outside Lingyun City. Laying on the ground. Watching this scene in the sky. So scared that even their souls were trembling. Knew this young master from next door was strong. They absolutely didn't expect. Could be strong to such an absurd degree. That was the ancient Modier. Existence that could wipe out the 9 provinces with a single breath. In front of this young master. Couldn't even withstand the power of a single finger. Blew on my finger. Tending to sigh with some regret. He's using too much force. Originally wanted to keep him alive. Use as fertilizer for Lin Yao Yuan in the back mountain. Really can't take a hit. So lonely, so lonely. 9 provinces continent was completely peaceful again. And a sweet rain fell from the sky. This was the law of heaven and earth. Thanking me again for eliminating the hidden danger of the Demon Emperor. Refocused my attention on the Crossworld livestream. A highway, Dad was in the newbie village of the Divine Realm. Could say he was doing extremely well. The respect of the gods. Cultivation and the immortal slaying sword in hand. Slaughtered all the way through the 9th heaven abyss. Quickly fought into the core region of the Divine Realm. Unfold heavenly prison. On the way, my father inquired everywhere about my mother's whereabouts. Finally, in an ancient relic of the Divine Realm. Found a memory stone of divine history. Turned out my mother was not only the empress of the divine realm, also bore the fate of suppressing the divine realm. Ultimate destiny of brilliance. Then, she fell to the mortal world and fell in love with my father. Birthed to me and spent the happiest time of her life. 9 supreme divine kings of the divine realm. Onto her location. Forcibly took my mother away. For any noble bloodline. To use her as a living sacrifice. Prisoned in the deepest part of the endless divine abyss. Every day they extracted my mother's empress origin. Compare the gradually declining fundamental laws of the divine realm. These 9 divine kings endlessly enjoyed the dividends of the divine realm. Oof and arrogant. A light vision. After my father finished watching the memory stone, completely fell into madness. Eyes bled. White hair instantly turned blood red. In divine kings. Ling Zhan, am irreconcilable with you. If I have to spill my last drop of blood, will flatten the endless divine abyss. Rescue my wife. Father turned into a blood-colored rainbow. Endlessly charged toward the endless divine abyss. Being this, originally lazy gaze, instantly became incomparably cold. Turns out my mother was taken away back then. Only was she forced. Has been suffering under these so-called mighty gods. Self-proclaimed noble supreme divine kings. Truly rely on sucking a woman's blood to maintain their rule. Really disgusting to the extreme. Night vision shifts. Father has already fought to the entrance of the endless divine abyss. It is the most perilous place in the divine realm. Around are filled with the peerless divine formations. Set up by the 9 divine kings. Center of the abyss. Chaotic chains. Through the pipa of a peerless woman. Hitting her firmly in the void. Though the woman's face was haggard. Expression pale. Still could not hide her breathtaking, world-shaking beauty. It was precisely my mother, the divine sword empress Luo Qinghan. Around the abyss. At 9 towering figures, each 10,000 feet tall. Radiating supreme, unmatched divine king auras. Mother Zhan, don't come over. Quickly, this is a trap. The moment my mother saw my father. Once dim eyes. Instantly erupted with extreme terror. Ignored the chains tearing her flesh in agony. Huddling desperately, crying out to my father, it's too late. Since this ant from the lower realm has delivered himself. And become the divine grievances biting medicine as well. Eating divine king. A ruthless and indifferent divine command. 9 divine kings opened their eyes simultaneously. Beams of destructive divine light converged into a heavenly net. Quickly trapping my father in the center. Frantically waved the immortal execution sword. And out the power of primordial chaos to the limit. Was pushed to the extreme by him. For me with an arrow that severs bones and tendons. Blood-colored sword light tore through layers of divine shockwaves. Fiercely slashed at the divine king's magic chest. This time, Dad faced an opponent far too strong. 9 divine kings are the rulers of this divine realm. Ultimate sovereigns who have survived for billions of years. Have long since merged with the very source of the divine realm. That sword shattered one of the divine king's arms. Arm instantly regenerated. Dad was struck by the combined attack of the 9 divine kings. Stood heavily away. Stained the stone walls of the abyss. Mortal execution sword in his hand let out a mournful cry. And cracks appeared all over the sword's blade. Ants from the lower realm dare to challenge. Majesty of the divine kings, overestimating themselves. Divine kings mocked coldly. Preparing to deliver the final judgment. Completely erased Dad. Mother Zhan's mother let out a heart-wrenching cry. In his eyes turned into drops of blood. Mother struggled to use the broken immortal execution sword to support his battered body. Wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth. Still stubbornly blocking the entrance to the abyss. Without retreating a single step. Han, don't be afraid, I promised you. Instead, I will bring you back in glory. Ling Zhan will never let father play the hero. Need to burn my divine soul. Launch a final, mutually destructive strike. Seeing father's tragic figure in Guang Mu's eyes. Took a deep breath. Eyes couldn't help but turn slightly red. Father, though sometimes stubborn. Truly unmatched when it comes to protecting his family. It's enough, father. Already done very well. Give the rest to me. Done you always thought was useless. Stood up. Silk nightgown on my body fluttered without wind. Power of the creator god hidden within me. This moment was no longer suppressed in the slightest. Completely released. Crack. The leakage of my aura. The world barriers of the entire 9 provinces continent. Into collapse madly. Able to withstand the existence of me, the creator god. Master will take you to the divine realm to bring grandmother home. Turn to look at Mu Xiaoxiao, my tone calm. Carrying an unquestionable dominance. Xiaoxiao didn't hesitate at all. Straight to my side. Her young master tightly. Wherever young master goes, Xiaoxiao goes. Smiled slightly. Just my right hand, fingers like a sword. Slashed fiercely toward the heavens. A rumble, a massive spatial rift. Hinting the lower and divine realms, spanning endless dimensions. Instantly appeared before me. No formation. No consciousness. The form of the creator god. Forcibly tore through the barrier of the universe. King Mu Xiaoxiao, I stepped into the rift. The next second, the stars shifted. Descended directly. Of the endless divine abyss in the divine realm. This moment, the final judgment of the 9 divine kings. About to fall upon my father's head. Father had already closed his eyes, ready to embrace death. Just at this critical moment. Stood above the 9 heavens. Simply let out a light hum, disperse. It was no overwhelming surge of divine power. It was merely a single syllable. Path that gathered the 9 divine kings. Full force destructive judgment. Like a wounded foe meeting its nemesis. Suddenly vanished without a trace in midair. Even a trace of divine power or clothing was left behind. Dares to interfere with the actions of the 9 divine kings. Manifestation of the 9 divine kings. Suddenly looked up. Gazed at the youth who suddenly appeared in the sky. They saw me clearly at that moment. 9 supreme divine kings. Arrived together. Urge of battle intent from the depths of their souls. Discovered that the divine realm origin they were so proud of. Actually in a state of frantic fear. Admitting to that youth. Had suddenly opened his eyes. Looked at that familiar figure in the sky. Was completely stunned. Instead, how did you get up here? It's dangerous here. Hurry back to the lower realm. Had shouted anxiously. Completely ignoring his body full of wounds. Mother Luo Qinghan also stared at me blankly. In her eyes kept flowing uncontrollably. His brows and eyes. Outline is exactly the same as Ling Zhan when he was young. It is his son. Son he thinks about day and night. This is the most dangerous forbidden place in the divine realm. Did this child appear here? Ignored the terror of the 9 great divine kings. Step by step, I slowly walked down from the sky. Every step. Golden lotus blooms beneath my feet. Formed from the primordial source of creation. Heavenly laws of the entire divine realm. Lapse endlessly under my feet. And reunite. Father, I've come to take you and mother home. Walked up to my father and gently waved my hand. Gentle surge of primal creation energy flowed into his body. Fatal wounds on him instantly healed. Broken immortal execution sword. Once again radiated dazzling 4-colored divine light. Grade even advanced further. And I turned. Head to look at the 9 lofty divine king statues. That instant, my gaze became colder than eternal ice. Was you trash? Chained my mother. Was you worthless ones who hurt my father? 9 divine kings shuddered under my stare. Eating divine king, Selena, roared, barely restraining herself. Stop pretending to be mysterious. No matter your cultivation. This divine realm, we are the absolute rulers. The gods and ministers of heaven and earth. 9 divine kings simultaneously ignited their divine palaces. Preparing to fight to the death. Facing them. Enough to plunge the entire divine realm into chaotic destruction. Merely shook my head slightly. Eyes full of pity. Understanding of power is truly laughable. Slowly raised my right hand. 5 fingers fiercely grasped the void. Word deprivation. Overflowed throughout the divine realm's time. Space, and even all the laws of heaven and earth. Were plunged into absolute stillness. 9 divine kings were terrified to the extreme. Discovered. Not only could they not mobilize any divine power. In the divine bodies and souls within them. In their very existence in this universe. Being forcibly erased. An irresistible force. Are you really? Are definitely not of the divine realm. Eating divine king. Out a final desperate scream. Looked at them. Tone calm as water. Am I? My name is Lin Fan. Ordinary mortal from the lower realm who likes to take it easy. You trash. Not even qualified to make me act. My 5 fingers completely closed. Bang bang bang. In muffled explosions. Out one after another in the endless divine abyss. 9 supreme divine kings. Along with their towering divine manifestations. Didn't even have time to resist. 9 cheap fireworks. Sting into countless lights and shadows in the air. Completely annihilated, body and soul. And the qualification to reincarnate. Forcibly taken by me from the river of fate. Chaotic chains trapping my mother. So dissipated at the moment the divine web fell. Mother, Luo Qinghan, lost her support. Fell from midair. Father, quick-eyed and swift-handed, dove to catch my mother. Holding her tightly in his arms. Lovers who had endured hardships. Finally embraced tightly at this moment. Able to hold back their tears. Han, I finally found you, Brother Jean. Thought I'd never see you again in this life. Watching the heartwarming reunion of my parents. Let out a long sigh. Stone in my heart finally dropped. Suddenly began to flash crazily. Hitting a blinding red light. System panel in my mind. Suddenly turned into an extremely glaring blood red. Sharp alarm sounds. Almost pierced my creator god's soul. Warning, warning. Detected that host's father has successfully rescued his wife. Host's father's ultimate life goal has been completed. Hitting willpower is plummeting. Chapter's motivation has been completely cleared. Prosperous family righteous path. Clear conflict in system's core logic. Host's father completely loses his drive. System will lose its meaning of existence. Destruction program will be automatically triggered. That time, universe where the host resides will be completely rebooted. Turning to nothingness. Looked at the crazily pulsating blood-red characters in my mind. Instantly felt terrible. Kind of damned father pit setting is this? Damn it. They're already immortal and indestructible creator gods. They still have to be subjected to this lousy system. Rigid program's reputation. Father went through countless hardships and near-death experiences. Finally managed to rescue my mother. Couple reunited. Embraced each other, whispering sweet nothings and sharing a moment of tenderness. My father really have to be forced at this moment? Draw his sword and slash at the air as compensation? System, have you been single for too long? Stand to see others with happy families? Is just about to use the power of the creator god. Forcibly mute this blind system. Even dismantle and reassemble it. And suddenly, the deepest part of the endless divine abyss. Suddenly, a chilling, bone-cracking sound of something breaking. Crack, crack. Sound was like some gigantic creature swing on the world barrier of this realm. Originally, because 9 great divine kings had fallen, divine realm was gradually returning to peace. Suddenly began to shake violently, terrifying than the combined power of the 9 great divine kings just now. Ancient and evil aura 10,000 times more dreadful. The bottomless depths of the abyss erupted like a volcanic explosion. Those auras, on a nauseating dark purple color, wherever they passed, in the void of the divine realm, corroded into huge black holes. Jean, be careful. Luo Qinghan was the first to react. Had once been imprisoned here for countless days and nights. All too familiar with the aura from the abyss. Stunning face was filled with terror. Grabbed my father's arm. It was actually something still suppressed beneath the divine abyss. Something so ancient that even the 9 great divine kings deeply feared it. Great terror. Turns out they extracted my empress origin, only to maintain their rule. Also to reinforce the peerless seal at the bottom of this abyss. Now that the 9 divine kings are dead, the seal is completely shattered. Thing is about to come out. Soon as my mother finished speaking, sound shook the entire divine realm. Wild laughter of all the heavens and worlds heard out from the depths of the abyss. 100 million years. Oh, 100 million years. Last, I have returned to the light of day, accompanied by this mad laughter. Enormous black seal, indescribable in words, slowly rose from the endless divine abyss. Body was vast beyond measure. With only half emerging from the abyss, it already completely shrouded the entire 9th heaven abyss. Had no specific form of consciousness. A mass of constantly writhing dark purple nebula. In the nebula, tens of thousands of starry eyes. I radiated the power to destroy all things. An insatiable greed to devour everything. I'm the first wisp of annihilation chi from the dawn of the universe. Incarnated as the Void Devourer. These useless so-called 9 divine kings thought that using the Empress's origin could suppress me forever. Utterly ridiculous. Well, they have brought about their own destruction. This universe. No one can stop me from feasting anymore. Wait. The thousands of the Devourer's star-red eyes rotated simultaneously. Finally, stared intently at the huddled 5th father and 5th mother. Such a pure scent of flesh and blood. Especially you, the Empress of the divine realm. Your essence is simply the most delicious example in the world. Immediately became a part of this work. Void Devourer let out a greedy hiss. Endless tentacles formed from dark purple. Annihilation aura. Leaping towards my father and mother. Stabbed at them. 3 tentacle. 3 divine. Horrifying power that could instantly kill even revered mighty beings. Jean, quickly take our child and leave. Hint of determination flashed in Mother Luo Qinghan's eyes. Actually wanted to push my father away. Sacrifice herself to block that monster. How could my father let her suffer like that? Han, I told you, as long as I'm here, no one can touch a single hair on your head. Father Lingzhan not only didn't retreat. Instead, he pulled his mother behind him to protect her. Warmth in his eyes. Instantly transformed into endless battles and rage. Originally just wanted to quietly pick up his wife and bring her home. 2 blind fools. Out one after another looking for trouble. No matter if you're a god king or some devourer. You dare block my way today. All must die. Father let out an unyielding roar to the sky. Mortal slaying sword in his hand. Forth with an unprecedented dazzling divine light. Leashing the Hong Meng. Dust Dao body. Pushed it to a position beyond its limits. Cultivation at the peak of divine veneration. This moment actually showed faint signs of breaking through to the divine emperor realm. Sword to sever the bone essence for me. Father leapt up, transforming into a peerless sword light that tore through the galaxy, viciously slashing at those countless purple tentacles. Seeing this scene, I felt a slight relief in my heart. Father's fighting spirit was ignited again. Crazily flashing red light of the system in my mind finally stopped alarming. Blood-red characters gradually faded. System returned to normal again. It's like this system is a stubborn thing. Only feels motivated when under pressure. Watching my father's desperate driving. Shook my head. My father is brave. Current realm. Too far from that void devourer. Is an ancient monster that can devour even the divine realm. A heavenly Tao. Consciously. Father's peerless sword strike, enough to instantly kill a god king. Flashed at those purple tentacles. That only produced a harsh metallic scraping sound. Tentacles didn't even leave a single white mark. Instead, a powerful counterforce quickly followed the immortal slaying sword. Ducted into my father's body. Father grunted, spitting out a mouthful of fresh blood. Whole body, like a kite with a broken string. Flung back. Fully smashed onto the rocks at the edge of the abyss. Unji's mother let out a heart-wrenching scream. Hurried over to help my father up. Someone as insignificant as you. Think you can harm the body of Jin Ye? Simply overestimating yourself. Void Devourer let out a scornful laugh. His purple tentacles did not slow down, continuing to press down on them like a sky-covering wave. Just as the tentacles were about to touch them, brought Mu Xiao slowly landed in front of my parents. Just stood there quietly, without any extra movement. Those purple tentacles that could crush even divine lords seemed to have crashed into an invisible wall. From the laws of creation. 3 feet away from me. Did not advance even a fraction. Those tentacles actually began to collapse inch by inch from their tips, into nothingness. The Void Devourer's tens of thousands of star-red simultaneously burst out with incredulous light. Are you? Why? Have such terrifying law aura on you? You're definitely not a creature of this universe. Didn't even bother. Look at that disgusting looking monster. Instead, I turned around and squatted down, looking at my father, whose mouth was still bleeding. Dad, are you alright? Father wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth, smiled bitterly and shook his head. Instead, Dad is fine. Just that Dad is useless. To even protect your mother. In the end, still have to rely on you. Bring my father's self-blame. Sir Luo Qinghan was completely stunned. Looked at my father, then at me. Beautiful eyes were full of disbelief. Go, what did you just call him? He is our Fanner? Their voice was trembling violently. He left me, I was still in swaddling clothes. Standing before her. Already a supreme powerhouse who can casually withstand ancient terrors. Such a strong contrast. Couldn't even believe his own eyes. Looked at my mother's pale, still gentle and stunningly beautiful face. Suddenly a wave surged in my heart. Unprecedented sense of intimacy. Is the kinship thicker than blood? Irreplaceable bond that no law of creation can defeat. Mother, it's me, Fair. Come to take you home. Held my mother's cold, trembling hand, cold from excitement. Gave her a big smile. Mother could no longer control her emotions. Hugged me tightly in her arms. Crying out in pain, my child. Fair, mother is sorry to you. Letting you suffer so many years. Feeling the warmth of my mother's embrace. Couldn't help but feel my eyes redden. Not suffering, mother. With father here, I've never suffered. Gently patted my mother's back to comfort her. Meanwhile, Void Devourer I had left aside. Completely ignored. Was a peerless terror from the dawn of the universe. Had he ever been so disregarded? Ants dare to ignore me? Will rip out your souls. Torment you for 100 million years. Void Devourer roared madly. True form began to contract violently, clearing all the aura of annihilation to an enormous black sphere of light. Space around the sphere completely collapsed. Was a force capable of wiping out the entire divine realm. Ultimate weapon of destruction. For me. Black sphere, carrying the might to destroy everything. Dashed down fiercely towards the three of us. Master, be careful. Mu Xiaoxiao knew I was invincible. Seeing such a world-destroying scene, still couldn't help but nervously grab my sleeve. Gently patted Xiaoxiao's little hand, signaling her not to be afraid. I slowly stood up to look at that reckless monster. Originally, today was supposed to be a joyful day of family reunion. Didn't want to see blood. You, this ugly freak, really have no sense at all. Since you insist on courting death, I'll grant your wish. Extend my right index finger. The fingertip, a drop of pure white origin of creation condenses. The origin seems weak. It contains the supreme needle of creation and destruction of all things. Aim at the falling black sphere of light. Gently tap and break it. White light instantly shoots out, hiding with the massive black sphere of light. There's no earth-shattering explosion. There's no dazzling brilliance. Sphere, capable of destroying the divine realm. Like snow and ice meeting the blazing sun. The radiance of the primordial source of creation. Instantly melted away without a sound. Is this possible? Level of power is this? Void Devourer let out a terrified scream. Finally realized. Had provoked an existence he could not even up to in the arena. Massive body began to retreat frantically, trying. Crawl back into the endless divine abyss to hide. Wanted to run late. Let out a cold snort. Fingerless right hand suddenly opened. Fiercely clenched, stripping the space with the law of creation. Space around the Void Devourer instantly became an absolutely sealed, transparent cage. Massive body. Tightly squeezed inside the cage. No matter how he struggled, he couldn't escape. Turned my head to look at my stunned father. Corner of my mouth curled into a sly smile. Dad. Got the sandbag under control for you. Just injured you. Now is your time for revenge. Chop him up for mom. Was stunned for a moment. Glanced at the one in the cage. Struggling madly, far away. Ancient and terrifying. Looked at the immortal slaying sword in my hand. Full of cracks. My current cultivation. And if I chopped him 10,000 times, I couldn't break his defense. Dad is warlike, but not stupid. Knew the gap between himself and that monster. Like a chasm between heaven and earth. Chuckled. With a thought. Quickly communicated with the system in my mind. System, stop playing dead. Immediately arrange for my father. Highest level temporary enhancement package. Want him to have a blast. Though the system was reluctant to obey my command. Had no choice but to comply under the might of me, the creator god. Could only obediently follow orders. Acting the host's strong desire. Especially issuing a limited time invincibility trial card for the host's father. Strongest attack power in all the wealthy families across the myriad worlds. Amplified 10,000 times. Ultimate awakening state of the wealthy family's immortal slaying sword. The time it takes to burn one incense stick. The system prompt sounded. Incomparably dazzling 9-colored divine light. Cut directly from my body. Poured into my father's spiritual crown. Father's whole body suddenly trembled as if fasting. Aura many times more terrifying than before. Erupted violently from within him. Injuries healed instantly. Yuxian sword in his hand, covered in cracks. Bathed in divine light. Not only were the cracks completely repaired. Even directly. Transformed into the legendary creation-level divine weapon. The blade. An unparalleled sharpness that could easily cut through dimensions of the universe. His power. Father felt within his body. That he could shatter all heavens with a single punch. This false power of the world. Unprecedented frenzy and confidence erupted in his eyes. Turned to glance at his mother. Han, watch me avenge you. After speaking, I stumbled forward. Instantly appeared in front of that transparent cage. Void Devourer. Looking at the aura before him. White-haired man who had completely changed. The first time, extreme terror appeared in his eyes. You stay out of this. Father raised the Juxian sword high in his hand. Expression on his face was extremely cold. Aren't you just shouting about wanting to eat me? Go to hell for me. Strike my father with a fierce sword. Fancy moves. A pure, ultimate violence and sharpness. Sword light of the immortal execution sword. It's formed into a 9-colored river tens of thousands of miles long. Fully sliced open the transparent prison holding my subordinates. Then, through the body of the Void Devourer without any obstruction. Flash. Void Devourer's scream stopped abruptly. Enormous nebula-like body. After the sword light passed. Suddenly paused for 1 second. A dazzling crack appeared. Hitting up from the center of his body. Tumbling. Void Devourer's body exploded with a bang. Into a sky full of pure spiritual energy. Nourishing the entire divine realm that had been hurt and scarred by continuous battles. Instantly killing the ancient terror with one click. Dad's handsome figure sheathing his sword. Then let out a breath. Exhilarating feeling of avenging a great hatred. Him looked 10 years younger. Well done. Adelson mother excitedly applauded from the side. Eyes were full of worshipful stars. His heart. Father is always that heroic figure who stands tall and can do anything. Father is the invincible great hero. Father smiled proudly. Turned to look at me, about to say something. Then, System's real invincibility experience card time ended. And colored divine light on my father quickly faded. Cultivation also returned to the peak of divine respect. That was already enough for him. Walked up to me. Gaze was more complicated than ever. Looked at me deeply. For a long while, he sighed. Father always thought he was protecting you. Father finally understands. Turns out you were always secretly protecting Father. The Nirvana golden pill in the lower realm. The immortal slaying shipborne weapon. Invincible power just now. This was caused by you, right? Hearing my dad say this. Heart skipped a beat and I felt bad. Dad is about to see through me. Quickly pretended to be innocent. My nose, Dad. What are you saying? I can't understand. Just an ordinary, laid-back teenager. Lying entirely on Dad's mighty and invincible aura. Dad reached out and gently ruffled my hair. Eyes reddened slightly, the little brat is still pretending in front of Dad. Think Dad is a fool? Oh, Dad doesn't know. You possess this incredible fate. Dad knows you've definitely borne a lot. Dad's fault. You're so young. Take on responsibilities that should have been Dad's. Dad's tears finally couldn't hold back and fell. It is a father's guilt for his own helplessness. Deep love for his son. It is truly a tearjerker. My mother and Mu Xiaoxiao standing nearby. Couldn't help but tear up. Also felt a wave of emotion in my heart. Tears at the corner of my eyes almost couldn't be held back. Dad. Say that. We're a family. Doesn't matter who protects whom. Long as you and Mom are safe and sound. I can lie in the yard basking in the sun every day. It's the greatest happiness of my life. Smiling, I gave my dad a big hug. Dad hugged me tightly. If he was holding the most precious treasure in the world. Son. We'll never let you shoulder things alone again. We'll keep working hard on his cultivation. Having to catch up with you as soon as possible. Truly be your support. His heart, my dad secretly made a vow. This moment was no longer being forced by the system to improve. Was driven by the purest love for his wife. His son. Wanted to become stronger. Wanted to become the true pillar of this family. Hearing these heartfelt words from my dad. System in my mind. Suddenly let out an extremely pleasant hum. Sound alert. Detected that the host's father has comprehended the ultimate secret of fatherly love. Host's father. State of mind has undergone a complete and ultimate transformation. King the system's fundamental rules. Congratulations to the host's father for receiving the blessing of the Tao's origin. Cultivation permanently elevated to half-step creation god realm. Humble. Sky of the god realm, which had just calmed down. Once again showers down endless auspicious signs. Endless golden lotuses bloom in the void. 1,000 rays of rosy clouds envelop my father's body. Father's cultivation. Actually, without my cheating. Through relying solely on his own state of mind. Forcibly crossed the threshold of God Emperor. The terrifying half-step creation god realm. Looking at this unbelievable scene before me. Feel an indescribable thrill in my heart. This is my dad. Man who, even after being crippled, never bowed to fate. One who, to protect his family, grows stronger when facing stronger foes. Super tough guy who breaks through limits endlessly. So awesome not having to cheat. Thrill of being able to level up crazily too. Simply hits the soul directly. System, you did a good job this time. Then, I silently gave the system a thumbs up in my heart. As my father has already broken through. And as his son, naturally, I should benefit as well. Sure enough. System prompt followed closely. Acted. Host's father's cultivation has reached half-step Genesis divine scripture. Unique passive law, ultimate punishment. Since the host has reached Genesis divine perfection. Host's realm will be elevated to void that surpasses the existence of the universe. The transcendence realm, the host will become the sole supreme ruler. All dimensions in all worlds. An instant. Felt my soul completely sublimated. Was no longer limited to a certain universe. A certain law. And the beginning of everything and also the end of everything. Long as I wish. And even, in a single thought. Created countless universes like the divine realm. I'm not interested at all in those fights and killings. In ruling the universe. Now, there's only one thought in my mind. That's to take my parents back to our hometown in the lower realm. Continue my simple, unremarkable life. Issues here with my parents have all been resolved. As for the mess in the divine realm. The people of the divine realm handle it themselves. Go back to the lower realm. To the Tianyun Empire. Our little courtyard, okay? Looked at my parents and asked expectantly. Mother glanced around at the scarred divine realm. Lie her most painful memories. Doesn't want to stay a moment longer. Let's go home. Mom will make your favorite osmanthus cake. Mother gently stroked my face. Eyes full of love. Father laughed heartily. Pulled my mother into his arms and walked. 3 of us were finally reunited. Back to the lower realm to live a peaceful life. It is now half a creator god too. Now on, we'll walk sideways in the lower realm. See who dares to mess with us. Smiled and snapped my fingers. The void, orderly emitting a gentle light, instantly appeared. The other side of the portal. The very same remote, shabby yet cozy place in Lingyun City. The Tianyun Empire where we stayed. Let's go home. Took Mu Xiaoxiao's hand and stepped to the portal first. Father held my mother and followed closely behind. Our family left. Portal slowly closed. Seeing only the surviving gods of the divine realm. Stunned in the wind. Looked at the empty, endless divine abyss. Even thought that everything just happened was nothing but a bizarre dream. The fall of the 9 divine kings and the disappearance of the void devourer. Billy told them. Guy of the divine realm had completely changed. The supreme taboo who changed everything. He wanted to go home and bask in the sun. And flies. Years pass like a shuttle. As we returned from the divine realm to the mortal world. Full 10 years have passed. These 10 years. Entire 9 provinces continent. Undergone earth-shaking changes. In family, because of father's return. Bringing back the divine empress. Become the undisputed #1 family in the 9 provinces. And some gods from the previous realm have sent people into the mortal world to mock the Lin family. Yun City. Then expanded into the most prosperous center of the continent. For our family. Still live in that original small courtyard. Now the courtyard. Been completely transformed by my primordial divine power. Like spring all year round. Spiritual energy is so dense it can condense into droplets. Art is filled with all kinds of immortal herbs and divine trees. The worlds of the heavens. Under the tallest and most flourishing Bodhi divine tree in the center of the yard. Lying comfortably on that. Any old agarwood rocking chair that has accompanied me for years. Light filters through the leaves onto my face. Warmth makes one drowsy. Master, try the new enlightenment divine tea, see if it's too hot. Xiao Xiao has grown more and more beautiful and lively. Wears a light green long dress. Immediately holding a jade teacup. Taking it to my lips. Open my mouth slightly. Xiao Xiao. It's the priceless enlightenment divine tea into my mouth. Sweet. Mellow fragrance of the tea instantly fills my mouth. Squint my eyes in contentment. And a god wouldn't trade for this kind of life. The other side of the yard. Is a deafening shout. See my father, Ling Zhan, bare-chested. Cutting all over, in the yard. Furiously swinging the immortal execution sword. Every swing. 8 tiny spatial rifts in the void. Dad, what has gotten into you this time? Letting people get close early in the morning. Helplessly dug at my ear and shouted at my dad. Dad put away his long sword. Actually wiped the sweat from his forehead. His head and glared fiercely at me. Little brat. You do is lie on the chair and slack off. Yesterday. Wang's son next door broke through to the Xiandan realm. Wang showed off in front of me for ages. Hey, your dad can't swallow this humiliation. Must hurry up and cultivate. I have to break through to the true creation god realm as soon as possible. I can properly slap old Wang's face. Hearing my dad's bizarre words. Almost couldn't hold back from spitting out the tea in my mouth. Dignified half-step creation god. Husband of the empress of the divine realm. Supreme ruler of the 9 provinces continent. Because old Wang's mortal son next door. Through to the Xiandan realm. Actually upset. Dad's competitive nature. Really will never change in his lifetime. Right, alright, you're the most amazing, old man. Hurry up and practice. To break through to the creator god tomorrow and scare old Wang to death. Waved my hand perfunctorily. Changed to a more comfortable position and continued to lie flat. Just as I was perfunctorily dealing with my old man. Ready to close my eyes and take another nap. Redwood gate outside the courtyard. Suddenly knocked on with a thunderous bang. Immediately after, a middle-aged fat man dressed in nouveau riche style. Wearing a leopard print robe. Figured in. That man was exactly the old Wang next door my dad mentioned. Famous silk merchant in the Tianyun Empire. Behind him followed a young master whose chin, almost pointing up to the sky. This young man was dressed in a flashy white outfit. Spiritual energy fluctuations around him barely reached the Xiandan realm. First level, Brother Lin is still practicing swordsmanship. Soon as old Wang entered, shouted in a duck-like voice. Oh, I told you long ago. Our age. You'd just stay home and think things through. Hit my good-for-nothing son. Yesterday I casually ate a centuries-old Lingji. Expectedly, I directly broke through to the Xiandan realm. Now, have I been exceptionally admitted to the Royal Academy of the Tianyun Empire? Old Wang ugly patted his son's shoulder. Young kid also arrogantly glanced at his old man. Put on airs and cupped his hands. Hello, Uncle Lin. It's unworthy junior. Barely stepped into the Xiandan realm. Your family in Lingyun City ever has any trouble in the future, can offer some protection. Bring this father and son. Speak so arrogantly. Almost couldn't hold back my laughter while lying on the rocking chair. Dad is half a creation god. My dad's eyes, the Xiandan realm, and even as significant as a speck of cosmic dust. Old Wang brought his Xiandan realm son. Show off in front of my dad. This is like wielding a broadsword in front of Guan Yu. Performing tricks in front of the Buddha. Dad, Ling Zhan, stopped what he was doing. Casually tossed the Zhuxian sword onto the stone table. Looking at the smug father and son before him, corner of his mouth couldn't help but twitch violently. Old Wang. To criticize, but Sun Xiandan realm is full of water. Foundation is unstable. Steps are weak. Should eat less and focus more on building a solid foundation. Dad's words are golden advice from half a creation god. In old Wang's ears sounded like pure jealousy. Wang snorted disdainfully, "Old Lin. It's just sour grapes because you can't have it. Even though your Lin family is prosperous now, cultivation is all about talent. It's your Lin fan. He does his lie in the yard drinking tea every day. A trace of spiritual energy fluctuation. The future, this huge family business. You really going to hand it over to a mortal?" Young rich kid chimed in. "That's right, Uncle Lin. Heard your family used to be a prestigious household. Unfortunately, young Master Lin Fan has no cultivation talent. Uncle Lin is willing. Can send young Master Lin Fan to me. Companion to read books together. Guarantee no one would dare bully him." I heard this, I didn't really react. Father's expression instantly darkened. Precious son. Is, in all the heavens and worlds. Holy void transcendent mirror master. In the divine realm. The heavenly Tao can be crushed at will, the supreme taboo. Mortal father and son who don't know their place. Actually want me to be a companion book boy. Father sneered. Trace of helplessness flashed in his eyes. Old Wang. Really don't know how to write the word death. Top student will show you today. True power is. Father didn't even move a finger. Coughed lightly. That cough. Intentionally leaked 1/10 0.00000 of a half step. Asian god's might. The air in the whole courtyard. Instantly became as heavy as a primordial divine mountain. Wang, who was originally arrogant, his son with a tranquil elixir, suddenly felt their legs go weak. A thud, both knelt on the bluestone slabs. Spiritual power in their bodies completely froze. And breathing became extremely difficult. Young master was even more terrified, his face pale. Sweat poured out like a waterfall. Going on, what happened? Wang was scared out of his wits. But it was an earthquake. Father looked down at them. Alright. Hurry home. Show off so easily in the future. Always someone stronger, don't. Disaster upon yourself. You're speaking, my father withdrew that trace of pressure. Wang and his son, as if granted amnesty, called and rolled out of the courtyard. Didn't even dare to look back. Touching their embarrassed backs. Finally couldn't help but laugh out loud. Dad. Temper has mellowed a lot if it were before. Two would probably already be ashes. Father glared at me irritably. Father now has status. But I stoop to the level of ordinary people. Besides, your mother doesn't like seeing blood at home. Have to set a good example for him. Thumbs up to my father. Kaitis has reached the realm of half a creator. Or also the first person in history. Family was chatting and laughing. Between heaven and earth. Suddenly, something extremely bizarre happened. Originally clear sky without a cloud. Suddenly, without any warning, turned into a bleak pure white. White is not the white of clouds. Kind of. White that strips away all color and vitality. Spiritual energy of the entire 9 provinces continent. Stopped flowing at this moment. Time, space, even laws. Began to slowly disintegrate. Through this bleak light. Smile on my face instantly disappeared. Slowly stood up from the rocking chair. Brows slightly furrowed. It is a kind of familiar power that even I feel a trace of familiarity with. Does not belong to this universe. Not belong to the divine realm. Does it belong to any known dimension? The void. An extremely ethereal, utterly emotionless grand voice. The anomaly detected, universe coordinate locked. Detected in this universe. Distance of an individual violating macro balance. Protocol officially initiated. Era of the great cleansing has arrived. This icy voice fell. A pure white sky. Gigantic, indescribable fissure. Slowly opened. A humanoid being shrouded. White light. Slowly descended from the fissure. Had no facial features. No sign of life. The purest laws of destruction and recreation. Are dimensional sweepers. Embodiments of higher dimensional rules. On all worlds and heavens. Especially responsible for cleaning up those out-of-control developments. Might threaten. Balance of the entire multiverse mutant events. Without a doubt. Father, this half-primordial creator god. An existence at the void transcendence realm. Long since far exceeded the limits this universe could contain. Father gripped the immortal execution sword tightly. Pulling my mother and Mu Xiaoxiao behind him. Gaze more solemn than ever before. Auras of these 3 monsters. Actually countless times more terrifying. That void devourer from before. 1. Reached the true peak of the creator god realm. 3-dimensional sweepers. Simultaneously raised their featureless faces. Looking onto our small courtyard. Individual spirit battle, spirit return. Existence has already broken the dimensional balance. Continue ultimate erasure. The sweepers slowly raised its hand. Pillar of pure white light pierced through the void. Silently descending upon our courtyard. Pillar of light did not unleash world-destroying power. Wherever it passed. Matter and concepts were utterly erased. Leaving not a trace. Father roared, unleashing his primordial chaos body. Instantly erupting to the limit. Power of a half-primordial creator god. Transformed into a 9-colored sword river. Fiercely slashing toward that white light. 2 forces collided in midair. There was no explosion. A silent mutual annihilation. In the end, my father was only a half-primordial creator god. Seeing the true peak laws of the Creator God realm. Nine-colored sword river began to rapidly collapse. White light, unstoppable as bamboo, continued to press down on us. Father bit his tongue. Had a mouthful of origin blood onto the immortal execution sword, preparing to burn his life for a final stand. Then, my mind, system that had been dormant for 10 years, suddenly erupted with an extremely dazzling, sorrowful blue light. It was no longer the mechanical prompt sound of before. A familiar voice, full of exhaustion and vicissitudes, carrying endless gentleness. Actually, I knew this day would come long ago. Instead, this is the last time I can help you all. Hearing this voice, I was thunderstruck, as this voice was none other than my own voice. Rather, me from countless eras in the future. System, in my mind, slowly unfolded a heart-wrenching scene. It was another original timeline of fate. That timeline, I never transmigrated, never had a system. It was just an ordinary useless young master. People of the Star Sword sect took my father's sword bones, stole my mother's keepsake. Father, lacking the Nirvana golden core, passed away in grief a few months later. Mother suffered endless torment in the divine realm, eventually drained of her origin by the 9 great divine kings, body and soul destroyed. I, after enduring countless hardships and life and death struggles, made my way through endless hatred. It took me a full 100,000 eras. Slaughter through the 9 provinces. Slaughter through the divine realm. Slaughter through all the heavens and tribulations. Became, throughout all ages, only one. Reached the supreme void transcendence realm. I lost everything. Possessed the power to control everything. Could never again hear my parents call my name. Instead, I was left alone, sitting at the highest point of the multiverse, feeling eternal loneliness. Make up for this irreparable regret. Exhausted all my void transcendence laws. Forcibly reversed the river of time and space. Extracted most of my own power. Bind it into this fortunate path system. Sent my own soul back to the present point in time. Reason the system set my cultivation. Always be 3 major realms above my father. Because that cultivation, never given by the system, was my own original power. Gradually unsealed and returned. My father grew stronger. Deliberately set it up so that having a powerful father is invincible. Simply because I want to see my dad looking high-spirited more often. Want him to become the best father in the world. Want to use all my strength. Protect the purest smiles on their faces. System's voice gradually faded. All the dimensional sweepers discovered our secret of reversing time and space. To erase this perfect universe that has been altered. Instead, fuse your final power. Your true form. Protect our family. Let tragedy repeat itself. Blue light completely dimmed. System turned into a crystal clear teardrop. Merged directly into the depths of my soul. At that moment, I finally understood everything. Closed my eyes. A tear quietly slid from the corner of my eye. Turns out the fatherly love I've been enjoying, exchanged for by countless eras of my own efforts. Turns out there was never any system in this world. Only myself, who was willing to give up everything. Save my family. Suddenly opened my eyes. Usual laziness was gone from my gaze. Instead of playful mischief, it was a look. Endless vicissitudes after seeing through the ages. Absolute dominance. Took a step forward. Stood directly in front of my father. Right hand gently lifted. Pure white pillar of light, enough to erase everything. Actually stopped in the palm of my hand. And, like a wisp of smoke, gently pinched it. It completely dissipated. Mom, step back a bit. Give this to me. Father looked at my back. For some reason, his eyes suddenly reddened. Though he didn't know about the system. Could feel heartbreaking loneliness on me. Instead, what exactly are you carrying? Father asked in a trembling voice. Didn't look back. Just gave him a reassuring view of my back. Don't ask. Just need to know that no matter what I become, I'm always your son. Used to protect me. Hey, your son will protect you. Slowly rose into the sky, facing those 3-dimensional sweepers. White clothes fluttered fiercely in the void storm. Last part that was originally sealed in the system. Power of absolute detachment from the void. Completely returned to my realm. No longer bound by any concept. The very meaning of existence in this multiverse. Emotionless sweepers. To erase the home I finally regained? You ask for my permission? Spread my arms. Visible yet unimaginably vast ripple. Spread out from me. The entire multiverse. 3-dimensional sweepers. Their eternally unchanged faces. The first time, a wave of fear appeared. Connected power beyond the ultimate dimension. Danger level incalculable. Questing highest level destruction protocol. 3 sweepers fused simultaneously. Into a pure white giant tens of thousands of meters tall. His hand condensed a weapon that could sever the river of time and space. Dimensional judgment. Freeing the will of the entire higher dimension. Flashed down at me. This strike landed. Only Jojo. Only the divine sword. Then the past. Present and future would be completely reset to zero. Facing this ultimate strike. Had no intention of dodging. Just slowly raised my right hand. Transcendence first law, causality reversal. My cold voice fell. Laws of the entire multiverse. Completely inverted at this moment. Dimensional judgment that was slashing at me. Suddenly reversed in midair. Slashed directly to the pure white giant himself. Giant let out a soundless, shrill scream. Pure white body began to collapse madly. That wasn't enough. Move my family. Must pay the price of utter annihilation. Transcendence second law, return all to zero. My eyes. Divine light shone, enough to illuminate endless dimensions. Giant tens of thousands of meters tall. Didn't even have a chance to struggle. Was directly erased from the conceptual level. This absolute power of the void. Pure white sky quickly faded. Gojo continent returned to its original blue sky and white clouds. Sunshine once again filled our small courtyard. If nothing had ever happened. I knew. It was the eternal peace I bought. My last shred of obsession. System that accompanied me for 10 years. One who had been lonely for countless eras. Completely dissipated. Slowly floated down from midair. Toes gently touched the bluestone slabs of the courtyard. Vast, boundless power within me also. Itself. Became that seemingly ordinary boy again. Mom, Xiao Xiao. Fine, it's all over. Turned around. To them. Put an incomparably brilliant smile. Father suddenly threw away the immortal execution sword in his hand. Riding forward. Hugged me tightly in his arms. Iron-boned, half-step creator god. Now crying like a child. Brat, you scared your dad to death. Matter what you've been through. Matter how strong you are. Remember this. You'll always be my son, Ling Zhan. Anyone dares to bully you. If I have to risk this old life. Bite a piece of flesh off them. There also ran over. Hugging the two of us tightly. Tears soaked my shoulder. Xiao, from now on, Mom will make you osmanthus cake every day. Family will never be separated again. Xiao Xiao stood to the side. Eyes red, quietly wiping her tears with a handkerchief. Eyes full of attachment and deep affection for me. Feeling the warmth of my family. I could no longer hold back the tears at the corners of my eyes. This time, these were tears of happiness. Countless eras of waiting and planning. Finally achieved the most perfect fulfillment at this moment. I finally came home. Few months later. Then Lingyun City had completely returned to peace. Appearance of the dimensional sweepers was just a small episode. Didn't cause any ripples in the mortal world. Father still swung that now scrap metal. Reluctant to throw away immortal execution sword. The courtyard every morning. Even though he knew with me around. His world was absolutely safe. Still enjoyed practicing with it tirelessly. That it was to set a good example. For me as his son. Mother opened up a small vegetable garden in the backyard. Dignified empress of the divine realm. Or her greatest joy. Figuring out how to grow crisper cucumbers. Sweeter tomatoes. As for me. Still lay on that ancient, fragrant wooden rocking chair under the Bodhi divine tree. Now, there was someone else by my side. Xiao Xiao was no longer just my close junior sister. My parents' strong matchmaking. A few days ago, we had a simple yet incredibly warm wedding. Out alerting the gods and Buddhas of the divine realm. Inviting the various great clans of Jojo. Neighbors and a few close friends. Now she, rightfully the young lady of the house next door. Xiao, open your mouth. Picked up a wrapped snowland Bodhi fruit. Brought it to Xiao Xiao's lips. Cheeks flushed. Immediately opening her mouth to eat the fruit. Eyes full of unending sweetness. Master, you're teasing me again. Xiao pouted and gave me a playful glare. Glance, but the body was very leaning on my shoulder. Smiled. Reached out to wrap his slender waist. Young master. You should call me husband. Xiao shyly buried his head in my arms. Voice was as soft as a mosquito's hum. Husband. As I listened to this call, heart was filled with sweetness. Gentle breeze blew. Golden Bodhi leaves fell in the courtyard. Afterglow of the sunset shone on our family, filling us with a layer of warm gold. Aroma of my mother's cooking drifted from the kitchen, along with the sound of my father coughing from the cooking fumes. Closed my eyes. A deep breath. This air filled with the warmth of everyday life. More noisy system. More world-destroying